είσαι.
5 του κερατά.
5 είσαι.
Δεν γίνεται να μπει game και να μην δίνει έναν Πολωνό. Γεια στην αντίπαλη ομάδα.
Ω, φίλοι της Riot, αυτά είναι λάθος το κείμενο.
Πολωνέ, Πολωνέ. Εγώ γιατί...
Μεσιά.
Ρε, σε μπαγκάρει το βλάδι ρε σε μένα. Μου δείχνει ότι δεν έχω full HP.
Μόνο το
βλέπει. Δεν έχω φάει 50 damage ρε. Από πού έχω φάει damage?
Τι ήταν αυτό? Α, έφαγα βαρελάκι.
Καλά, καλά, θα φάνε τώρα το... Καλά.
Αν είναι δυνατόν ρε.
Καλά λέει. Δεν περίμενες να το έχει βάλει, 3 level.
Ποιος είναι το παλικάρι που πέθανε?
Ένα παλικάρι στο raid goal.
Με έκανε fear 3 δευτερόλεπτα, 3.
Έτσι, στο rank λέει παίζεις full fear παίζεις.
Παπα, όχι!
Θα γίνει, πότε φεύγουν αυτές οι φούσκες από εδώ? Άντε
Πάτε
να.
το DPS, πάτε το DPS.
Α! 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 Ω! Ο ανήμπορος ο Κένον δεν μπορεί να σταυρώσει hit. Πάρτε μου τα ΟΕ. Πάρτε τα ΟΕ. Σε πιάσα. Α, δεν σε πιάσα. Έλα να τα πούμε στο κάτω ημισφαίριο. Έλα, έλα. Έλα, εδώ σε έχω. Δεν έχεις μάνα. Αλλό. Θα έμπαινα, αλλά ξέρω ότι έχεις το blind. Ας σε μάγκωσα.
Γιάννη, πάμε παλικαρίσια με το tower.
Όχι, περίμενα να ανεβούμε, αλλά ούτε 4 να δεν είναι.
Έλα ρε. Εμείς είμαστε παλικάρια. Τώρα θα πάμε μια δεύτερη. Άντε, έτσι. Το χείλο δεν ξέρω γιατί έφυγε.
Ένα free hit θέλω, ένα free hit. Ένα. Και άλλα 3 μετά από πίσω.
Δεν είναι, ένα τρυπάκι!
Τι γίνεται ρε μαλάκα? Τι γίνεται, δεν βλέπω τίποτα.
Πολύ ξύλο.
Πολύ αόε.
Τρώνε.
Σκατά με ζάχαρη.
Μαλάκα χαραπαλεύω.
Ναι, welcome to Aram. Κοίτα ένα Vlad, έναν Vigor.
Αλλά δικιά μου, δικιά μου.
Τον είχα εδώ, τον είχα στο Q. No! Κλαίω. Ωχ, κοίτα πως ψαρώσανε ρε, κοίτα τους. GG ρε, μπράβο Γιάννη. Έτσι. Ρίξε πόνο. Ρίξε πόνο στα νουμπάκια. Κόλλησα. Καλά, καλά. Το songs μου, πού πήγανε? Τι είναι αυτό το γάμο το αβύρα, πόσες φορές θα μου το πετάξει.
In the face λέγεται αυτό. Και έμεινα.
Χαχαχα. Έλα ρε μαλάκα, δεν είναι δίκαιο. Γιάννη, Γιάννη! Αλέκα, πήρα κι άλλο. Double πήρα.
Άλλο.
Με κάφρος. Τι έκανε! Τι έκανε! Τι έκανε! Τι μαλάκας που... Good guy, Nitro. Good guy, Nitro. Good guy, Nitro.
Ο Μιτσής. Ο Μιτσής.
Lol.
Άντε παρέλθω. Όσο χαρήκατε, χαρήκατε.
Τι έβγαλες? Πω ρε, κοίταν ένα. Πω, πάλι σάκο αντίπαλο και πάλι μόνο εμένα. Αυτό, στον. Γιατί ρε φίλε αυτή η κατενιά? Σχέστηκα.
Ρε, ένα kill ρε.
Έχουμε αφουκού νομίζω. Έχουμε αφουκού. Κρίμα. Τι barrier έκανε ο Devil? Τι barrier ήταν αυτό του Devil? Τους φάγανε τους δικούς μου χωρίς ulti. Και barrier. Έπεσαν ένα barrier, ένα ulti. Exhaust ψάχνω, έφαγα exhaust. Ό,τι να είναι μαλάκα.
Αντί να ρε. Παραπαλεύεις, έτσι.
Φύγω το μαλάκα το Γιάννη. Κοίτα πόσα barrier πέφτουνε ρε.
Τι τον έκανε.
Κομπλέ. Γάμω το box σας μέσα. Ω Μιτζή! Πήρα και...
Κλαίω. Πάντα εμένα κάνεις focus. Το κρατάω εγώ αυτά, εντάξει.
Βασικά ήσουν από κάτω.
Πώς πέτει, μέσα από 5 άτομα πέρασε, πόσα.
Όχι, όχι, απλά πήγα στην ευθεία και ήσουν στη γωνία, ρε. Ήμουνα... Πότε το έβαλε πάλι αυτή τη μαλακία? Ήμουνα εκεί που είναι το σκατόχρωμα στο χάρτη, το χώμα. Υπάρχουν εσωτερικές διαμάχες.
Ο Τζέο δεν πήγε ακόμα B. Άμα πάει και λύσει το game. Κάνει πόσο damage ήδη.
Κοίτα εδώ ρε μαλάκα. Α, ναι, γι' αυτό τρώω το damage. Κλαίω.
Τι.
Αναρωτιόμουν γιατί τρώω τόσο πολύ damage από το ίσο, αλλά είναι το καπέλο.
AP, ναι.
Λογικά πράγματα.
Όμω τι έχεις πέσει.
Τώρα μπήκε. Έλα ρε μαλάκα, πάει και μπαίνει μόνος του. Πω fail. Αλήθεια, έζησε. Όχι, πέθανε. Να, κάτι τέτοιο πριν το φάγες.
Το έφαγα, είχα πετυχιώσει γι' αυτό.
Μαλάκα, τι πόκο έχετε. Κάποιος μες στο θάμνο. Κάποιος να τσεκάρει. Face check. Oh fuck. Όχι! Μόνο σε μένα το έκανες. Έχασες skill το Vigor.
Δεν τον έπιασε το Vigor.
Δεν τον έπιασε το Vigor. Για πληστία σου να
λέω.
πάρεις και τους δύο. Ναι, και εγώ έμεινα πόσα.
Μαλάκα
Εκατό.
δίπλα ήτανε.
Πολύ καλό όμως. Υποβρύχιο. Γάμω το Vigor μου μέσα. Εδώ θα κάτσω ρε.
Έρχομαι
Εδώ
να
θα
δεις.
κάτσω, έλα φάει με. Εδώ θα κάτσω. Όχι εσύ, ο άλλος. Σπρώχ τον μωρέ. Όχι, πήρε τον άλλο! Γάμισε. Ο άλλο ακόμα δεν έχει γυρίσει πίσω. Έχει βάλει AP. Α, δεν έχει βάλει AP ούτε καν. Φύγε ρε από εδώ. Έλα ρε μαλάκα. Fear ρε φίντλ. Fear. Ένα fear. Αυτό ήταν kill. Και όχι death. Τέσπα. Τσίμπησε το healing. Τσίμπησε το healing. Πω, κοίτα, είναι 3. Έχουμε πολύ δυναμισμό στο team γάμο το. Τελικά δεν έπρεπε να πάει ψωνίσει. Το ανέβηκε η αυτοπεποίθηση και μπήκε μπροστά. Πώς ψάρω, έτσι γάμο. Παραλίγο παρακαλώ. Ήτανε καλό play, καλό. Κοίτα, δεν μ' αφήνει να χιλάρω. Ωραία, πάω ψηφίσω.
Τα έχουν άχτη.
Ρε, η δική μου! Μαλάκα δίγη! Όπα, τηλέφωνο ή Ερεν, μισό.
Ο Φίτλ τι έφαγε ρε και πήγαινε έτσι. Γιάννη είσαι μέσα.
Ναι ρε.
Α, δες.
Double kill πήρε. Τέλειο με αντίπαλο εμένα δεν παίρνει νίκη. Ο Ερμόλαος, γιατί το κρυδεύει. Έσαξε κάποιος.
Έλα, είχα τηλέφωνο. Τι έγινε, πήρα kill ενώ μου μπαίνανε.
Ω μηδί.
Τι μου λέγες, σε άκουσα ρε Γιάννη, ήμουν τηλέφωνο.
Πώς το φτάνει.
Να οριάλ! Αχ, τον πήρε άλλος. Τι είναι αυτό το stun? Ρε, δεν έχω crystal, πώς τρώτε slow? Βασικά δεν τρώω slow, απλά επειδή γκαζώνεις και ξαφνικά κόβεις από το passive.
Ναι, είναι από την πάση. Μα και τώρα ξαναγκαζόμαι.
Αλήθεια, έπιασε τον W στο κρυπάκι και δεν έπιασε σένα. Όχι! Παραλίγο.
Ποιο παλικάρι δεν γίνεται.
Άτος τον Θεό. Παλίκαρος αυτός.
Ώρα να ψωνίσω μου.
Ρε, πόση ώρα ταγκάρω ρε.
Δεν ξέρω.
Ήτανε και
Έκανες
μόνος
grid όμως.
του, 4.
Έκανες grid. Ας πάρω και pots γιατί η ομάδα μου κλέβει τα... Μην λήξετε ρε και φταίδες. Πω. Δεν θα πάρει τίποτα. Δεν θα πάρει kill. Α, πήρε, εντάξει, πήρε. Τώρα, λίχτε πριν σας φάμε, λίχτε.
Ναι, ειδικά τον Ντάμα που έχει. Κάνει.
Μαλάκα, ό,τι κάτσει. Αυτό ήταν ό,τι κάτσει.
Παιδιά, ταγκάρω.
Ταγκάς πάλι καρό. Έλα να πάνε.
Ρε τους τρολάρεις τους συμπαίκτες σου.
Λες τι έχει να γίνει τώρα. Κοίτα έτσι πει όλοι τους.
Μαλάκα τα κρύπια λήγουνε. Μαλάκα τα κρύπια λήγουνε. Κι άλλες όλα ήταν τα kill.
Ναι, θέλω 50 γκολ, δεν βγαίνω εδώ.
Όπου έκανε πολλά αυτή τη μεριά.
Πω. Unique aura. Unique passive. Δηλαδή στα καρύ. Θα το έχουμε μέχρι να τελειώσω εκεί. Yes. Wow! Εσύ είσαι. Πέθανα από το... Όχι, έζησε.
Δεν ψοφάω έτσι απλά.
Μαλάκα, εγώ κάνω τα Q στους συμπαίκτες. Ω.
Τι παλικάρι.
Τι παλικάρι είσαι ρε. Του το έγραψα κιόλας να το νιώσει. Είμαι στο κόκαλ.
Ρε, ο Ντάρος ήθελε να μου κάνει ulti.
Το είδα. Ρε μου
Και απλά
κόλωσε.
δεν σε κοιτούσε.
Ρε μου κόλωσε. Αυτό όπως είναι... Μου κόλωσε. Άμα ήταν tribunal, θα το βάζα στο γκρουπάκι αυτό το... Ρε μου κόλωσε. Έρχομαι να κάνω ένα ulti να γίνει πανικός!
Έλα, δεν το τελειώσαμε. Defend.
Εγώ, sorry παιδιά, πάω που. Εγώ δεν γυρνάω.
Ο Βίγκαρ το είπε. Το game δεν τέλειωσε ακόμα.
Βγαίνει μόνος του. Δεν τον νοιάζει
Θα του
τίποτα.
πληρώσετε αυτό που κάνατε. Μαλάκα, είμαι άχρηστος ρε.
Πέντα κύκλο.
Α, έτσι, πάνω στο... Έλα στην επιφάνεια να δεις σε περιμένει.
Ο Φίτρι. Παρόλο που ήμουν μέσα.
Σου τσίψα και ένα... Σταν.
Όχι. Ρε.
Τι! Fail Q το δατε. Fail Q ήταν αυτό.
Και πού να έπαιζα ρε εγώ.
Μην το τελειώσει.
Λοιπόν, εγώ πηγαίνω με την πιο ωραία,
Αυτό
με την προλάβα, την πρόλαβα.
Μαλάκα το Λιάντρι είναι πολύ δυνατό. Το Λιάντρι είναι πάρα πολύ δυνατό.
Μόνο εγώ έχω βγάλει. Ναι. Α, την δύο έχει βγάλει.
Τα πούσαρε ρε τώρα.
3 έχετε, αλλά είναι ρε. Είναι wow. Δεν έφαγε το στάν.
Περίμενε 15 δευτερόλεπτα για όλη την περίοδο, μην πεθάνουμε.
Έχω κι εγώ σε δύο. Έλα. Team fight.
Ρε, δεν θα είσαι μόνο σου.
Μ' ακολουθάνε, τι άλλο κάνω.
5,
Ναι, έχεις
δεν έχω όλη την περίμενε.
Έχεις δίκιο. Θέλω κάπου να βαρέσει 2 χιτάκια για να πιάσω τον buff.
Πάει το τσουτσέκι ρε μπροστά, ο Ντάριους σας.
Τι γίνεται εδώ, παλίκαρο. Έλα ρε.
Μαλάκα.
Πόσα ΟΕ έχετε?
Έλα ρε, πού είναι ο... Αλήθεια. Πεθάνανε.
Κακός.
Ο άλλος ψάχνεται ακόμα πως πέθανε. Ο Μίτσι. Ο Μίτσι. Κοίτα εδώ, κανήρης.
Δεν συντάμε του τέλειω.
Πέθανε. Το healing.
Νομίζω θα πέσει πάνω στη βόμβα.
Δεν βλέπει χαμπάρι, δεν είναι.
Δεν θα τον πάρουνε κιόλας.
Όχι, εντάξει, έχει έτοιμο ο λαός. Το προηγούμενο ήταν το μοναδικό teamfight που κάναμε σωστά.
Εδώ είναι παλίκαρος.
Δεν έχω όλη την, δεν ψαφάω έτσι.
Πανικός.
Κάποιος να μου πει γιατί είμαι εδώ, δεν καταλαβαίνω γιατί είμαι εδώ. Εσύ γιατί ζεις ακόμα.
Φουλ!
Μαλάκα δεν βάρουσαν εσένα, κανείς δεν βάρουσε εσένα. Πίκρα.
Έλα πίσω μωρή.
Ένα βγαίνω. Απλά να γεμίσει, δεν έχει.
Έλα τώρα, έλα, σε περιμένω.
Ο άλλος μιλάει με τον αυτό του, what? Εντάξει, να σου πω. Α, όχι, εσύ ψοφάς, άκυρο. Ο σκοπός αγιάζεται με. Μάρια, αναμένω, ακόμα δεν μ' απαντάνε ρε. Έφυγες.
Ο Μιτζή, τι έχετε εδώ πέρα?
Μαλάκα, ντάμαντζα.
Καλά,
Μαλακία μου. Νευρίασε ο Γιάννης τώρα.
Ο Γιάννης πηγαίνει.
Βασικά σπόναρ ο Γιάννης τώρα. Είναι comeback αυτό. Ω μαλάκα, δεν το περίμενες αυτό. Και ένα ulti για το... Ένα ulti για τη φωτογραφία. Έλα, full complex. Λίγουμε ρε!
Τίποτα.
Γιάννη.
Ναι, μην ήξερε πολύ. Τέλειο.
Δεν υπάρχει εδώ το team. Δεν είναι εδώ το team μου. Δεν είναι εδώ το team μου. Πού είναι το team μου?
Δεν λήξατε.
Δεν λήξαν τα ζώα.
Έλα ρε.
Λέγε ό,τι να είναι. Ποιο comeback που μας αφήνουνε και ζούμε τόση ώρα. Ο Κιό νευρίασε, φαίνεται. Ρε μαλάκα. Έλα σου πω εντωμεταξύ, πιάσαν όλα και μετά βλέπεις ένα fiddlestick να κάνει ulti. Λες και ένα άτομο, το Vlad, αν έκανε W θα ένιωθα από ulti. Νιώθεις από ulti, δεν
Δεν
νιώθεις έτσι.
προλάβαινα, είχα φία.
Νιώθεις από ulti.
Ήταν
Μα και
και
πάλι. Όχι, stun είχες, δεν νομίζω.
Οδηγείς.
Έχεις πολύ έλεγχο.
Το τελευταίο team fight. Έρχομαι.
Ναι, τώρα όμως έχω όλους και να ξέρετε.
Έλα ρε μαλά, Ένα ulti. Δες το stream τώρα, δες το ulti. Δεν κασταρίστηκε, δες το.
Εγώ σου άμα έκανα όλους και όμως θα το πως θα δούσατε.
Α, δεν ξέρω για τους άλλους, εγώ κάνω stun και φεύγω.
Έφυγε.
Τους άλλους γρήγορα και πήγε περιεργών. Λοιπόν, θα κάνω ένα break στο stream. Να κάνω φαγητό βραδινό. Α, έχουμε και τα να κάνουμε μετά.
Yes, sir. What you're doing, Warren? I like it.
Θα βάλω be back at. Όχι, δεν κάνεις.
You will do hand photos. Or the poster with drone.
Λοιπόν. Παίζουνε, τι παίζουνε. Α, πάτε μπορούμε να δούμε LCS. Πώς πάει έτσι το...
It caught up there with Karthus, but a lot of damage. Oh my gosh, Skara, you're not in a good place either. Must flash away. I don't think Mega can chase this one.
Oh, but he's gonna come follow through. He doesn't realize that Cutie Pie is in the bush.
Opa.
But actually, the shield was used. You go, oh, the harpoon just missed by a fraction.
Oh my gosh, so little health left on him down below.
Γιατί δεν φαίνεται το stream γάμο το. Λοιπόν, πάμε πάλι.
Flash, but a kill's worth it. And there's the teleport Patoy. He's pushing the side lane.
Poor Patoy goes straight down, quickly picks up some gold. And look at the farm, though. He's got 30 CS compared to 4. That's a big CS for a support player.
And we actually saw basically AP Janna from Elements at MLG. He got a Morella Namicon fairly quickly on. And it actually gave him a good bit of ability powers. And, you know, it's not too bad. But, of course, Marn get a free dragon.
They come straight back in, got that dragon. That's going to try and take the gold lead down a little. They are still 3,000 down. 5-2 in kills, of course. First blood coming a long time into this, but as it stands, Skara's looking very strong. Compact got that needlessly large drop. 3-0-1 right now, Skara. Way ahead in terms of items.
All the way
over
FK.
Echo.
But this is going to be interesting because basically Scar is going for that attack speed Diana build. I think he's going Zhonya's next, which will actually be really important for him. But basically, he's against the team who are very good against melee champions. Karthus, Jarvan, Rumble, Vayne, even the Sona ult as well. They're all very good at punishing short-range fighters because they're all going to be in the area of effect. They're all going to be dealing damage. And that's going to make Scar's life a little bit difficult. And so what I'm curious to see is how well Skara survives those fights. Does he go in late? Does he position away from Karthus or kill him really, really fast and just kind of get away from the AoEs? That's going to be an interesting difficulty here for Skara.
My one question really about Dignitas right now is would Patoy have benefited more possibly gaining exhaust? Bearing in mind there is a Vayne on the opposition team.
I think
Nobody's got exhaust.
You're absolutely right, and that can be really, really worrisome. We'll see if it ends up panning out that Niantanso cannot be stopped in fights. But thankfully for Dignitas, they still have Wither, at least from Nasus, and they still have basically the double assassin there of Skara and Kiwi Kid. That might be enough to shut down Niantanso in a fight.
We do see Crumbs putting damage on that mid tower, and of course, you know, Crumbs can do a lot of damage on Nasus. Those Qs work on towers.
Yes, it does a whole heck of a lot of damage. Of course, no one maxes that early, but you still get the damage boosted up. He's at plus 123 right now on that ability. We'll keep seeing it scale up.
See how it scales. This bottom turret, of course, has been taken very low. Then Niantanso getting slowed. There's just a couple more shots from Cutie and he's quite happy to take it up. Clakeyd's had to come and deal with Crumbs in this mid lane, which means that bottom inner turret will get left, and it does look like Dignitas is just going to get a couple more shots and finally take it down. That'll be 4-1 in turrets. Kiwi Kid looking to try and get the cocoon through the edge here.
Yeah, they're going to have a 5-on-4 available. Well, actually, no, I take that back. They don't have... Oh my gosh, he caught Clakeyd, though.
It's gone out to Clakeyd. Clakeyd has to slide away that one with that combo. And that does mean they are down to a 4-on-5 already. And it means also the mid turret has been left available. Crumbs, look at this. He's nearly taken his mid turret down.
Yeah, it's just sort of textbook Dignitas late game is they just push every lane at once all the time. And most teams are not able to really react to that very well.
And he's just got one more hit. Cataclysm goes down. The minions are going to go down, which means it's going to be 1 tower hit. Is it going to be 2 tower hits? Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Clakeyd finishes off Crumbs. Nice comeback. Can they try and turn something down the bottom?
It's a certain possibility. It's still only a 4-on-4, but again, there's no Baron buff. They could go for the long-range Rumble initiation. They're getting Jarvan down. They go for it.
Going for it. The Equalizer goes down. It's Kiwi Kid, though, throws out the cocoon, slows the approach down. If Mega Zero can land that harpoon on anyone, which I don't think he can, the spider came out. And just look at that. How quick they can evacuate. They've got the Howling Gales. They've got the cocoon. Everything's just thrown at them to knock them back. Have they left his mid lane open, though?
They've got a chance here. Certainly, there's still a bunch of guys at the bottom lane. I think, yeah, Marn, this is their turret. Their name's written all over it. This will be their second turret kill of the game.
So Marn written down the side, and it is going to take that turret down. 5-man push. I think they're going to have to back off straight away from this one. They can't take any more objectives from it, but that is a good turnaround, purely forced by Clakeyd getting aggressive on Crumbs there. 5-3 in kills. You can see the goal difference still just around about 3,000, and that equates to 1 tower going down. But Marn so far have had control. They've had the 2 dragons, so really it's simply losing the farming lanes between everything. Just look at it. You can see between the 2. Kiwi Kid, Mega Zero, 20 CS difference. Big advantage actually Echo over Skara. He has a 20 CS advantage, but of course Skara has those 3 kills.
Yep.
And the AD carries are still actually even right now, despite the fact the kills were layered on towards PewDiePie.
Now the gold lead is really all the supports right there. You've got the 50 minions on Patoy. Again, he maxed Q, he's able to split push. Oh, Mega Zero at the bottom though.
Skara going on towards Mega Zero. Mega Zero overheating as well. He's in all sorts of trouble. Skara pops him, launches him in the air. Echo was coming down, but he was just a little bit too late.
Not a lot of magic resist there on Rumble when you fight a high magic damage like Skara, like Diana. She's able to do a whole heck of a lot of damage. Again, a really, really, really good duelist. And when you're as mechanically proficient as Skara is, you tend to find kills.
And after watching some NALCS, I'll go back to it in a moment, but you can see Skara may well get caught out, but PewDiePie on Heartbeat just off the side here. Oh, the crescendo misses, and now comes the teleport. Heartbeat's going to get taken down, acing a hole through the wall from Miami PewDiePie, and they are just going to back off. Crumbs coming around the side. Who's he going to wither down? It's Echo. They want to target on towards Patoy's going to come in. Howling Gale comes out, but he forces the flash away.
That was an excellent, excellent fight there by Dignitas. They got 2 unanswered kills, and the pressure is still on. This is their turret, and Kiwi Kid is even looking for a flank.
The turret goes down. Kiwi Kid comes around the side. The cocoon lands on towards Mega Zero. Can they put enough damage down? No, they won't. They are going to back away from this one, but it does not matter. Damage done now. 4,000 gold difference, 4-2 in turrets.
And all I can keep thinking of is that Dignitas are making all the right strategic moves. Every engage has gone well for them. I can't think of a single fight they've lost. They may have traded kills, but it's always gone to the advantage. But the only thing I can keep coming back to is they are on a ticking clock here. The late game is there from Marn. Dignitas are playing it well, but they've got to keep these kind of moves going, and it's harder and harder and harder to kill inner turrets. We'll see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, they've got to keep the farm going. As it is, you can see, PewDiePie obviously picked up that other kill. That's going to help out. Caitlyn's not that much of a slouch late game, but compared to a Vayne, definitely a difference between the 2. You can see in terms of CS, it is still Niantanso, the new AD carry for Marn with that advantage. Scarab comes down to pick up the blue buff, and what I was about to touch on, the North American scene have learned I remember watching many of these matches and hearing chat saying, what is wrong with these people? Why are they not buying runic bulwarks? But there you do. Both teams, they have one apiece.
Well, exactly, because both these teams are running double AP comps, and even actually Nasus, I think there's more magic damage than physical. Spirit Fire is always maxed first. Neontanzo gets caught.
Neontanzo's caught out, and that's going to be... Oh, he flashed just in the right time, and has been saved. Can they follow it up? The Wither was slowing him down, but the ace in the hole was not quite enough to take him off.
But you look at the amount of damage that team is able to put out onto him, right? Assassins and just long-range engagement. That is really the hallmark here of Dignitas' team, and if they can keep doing that every fight, it doesn't matter how much gold Neontanzo has. If he's forced away every time, he'll never fight with the team.
Trying to force some advantage here from the fact, but I don't think it's going to work out. Man, have to be careful because they've got to back away from this one very quickly. Dignitas are going to turn and run on them. Here comes KiwiKid. He repels in. He goes straight on towards Echo. He's going to switch around. He's going to get the cocoon down. Echo gets dropped. Cataclysm comes out from ClayKD and actually pins Heartbeat in there. Heartbeat does get the crescendo across. Can they turn this around? That's going to be Skara going down. Crumbs is going to drop as well. One more hit from ClayKD will finish that off. Can they continue to chase? Vayne chasing on towards the support of Patoy. He may well be able to close this down, and he's got an Oracle on. One more gamble to tumble in will manage to finish him off. You can see coming out, the Howling Gale has slowed him down. He's going to keep chasing. Skara, meanwhile, down the bottom. It's not Skara, it's KiwiKid that's going to come around and get the cocoon and save Patoy's life. And ImAcutie protects the turret.
That was really awesome play there at the very end there by KiwiKid.
Oh, Heartbeat's in trouble.
Heartbeat is in trouble. It was a good counter engage though by Mar in that fight overall. They thought they had the free kill on Echo. They burned a lot of cooldowns. The Zonia's Hourglass though.
No! He didn't have the tumble. He didn't tumble in to block it, and that's Nienson just letting his support die.
Oh, scumbag Nien. But man, that fight, again, to kind of go back to it though, Skara engaged so very heavily. The problem was though, he found a face full of Equalizer and his Zonia's ended right before Requiem actually landed. So he got immediately bursted down. A 500 kill streak, or 500 gold kill was given away to Marn. Of course, 250 for the assist on that one. So that's a pretty decent gold swing there. And Echo is just scaling up.
So advantage is currently 5-1-2, definitely big advantage, but you talked about it already, ticking clock. That was close. It's still a 6,000 gold advantage, but Marn turned around that fight. You know, despite being caught out, despite Vayne not even being there at the start of that fight, he had to come running in to try and save the day. So, does that spell danger for Dignitas, or have they got a big enough advantage built up already? It's 5-2 currently, and we do see Skara way off at the moment. There's actually people closing in. Oh, in the mid lane, in the jungle, sorry, the river, it's going to be Patoy getting caught out there. Cataclysm comes out from ClayKD. Oh, but he's been blown out by the monsoon. He's going to surely finish through. Demacia Standard will be back up in a moment. Are they going to be able to continue through on this one? No, they've given it up because they didn't have the vision. Down. Meanwhile, in the turret, they're losing. They're pressuring them. ImAcutie pushing on towards the mid turret.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of damage right here. Again, this is Dignitas with the constant split pushing. Patoy has teleport up so he can rejoin his team if he needs to. And the problem is, though, no one can heads up 1v1 against QtPie. No one can chase him down. They don't have a real assassin there. And, of course, he's so long range, they won't pick up the kill. So, honestly, they can always have QtPie split. He'll always be safe. And who's going to dive Skara and win either? Like, they're able to split so well.
Oh, that's the equalizer going down. They're trying to catch on to QtPie, just as you mentioned. Oh, the flash crescendo comes out. He catches Skara, but they didn't know he was in the bush, and now they're going to turn it back around on Heartbeat. And you can see Mega Zero is having to throw out the harpoon. It's ClayKD. I think he put the ace in the hole on the wrong person there. I'm pretty sure he was aiming for Heartbeat, just misclicked it. Crumbs is going to continue pursuing this one, though. One more shot on towards Heartbeat. He's going to go down. He's going to get dropped, and now they're piling in. Echo, but they're all in the Defile right now. Echo will go down. They're still going to exit from this Defile. Here's going to become the Requiem. Will it do enough damage? Skara's ultimate just finishing off there. Crumbs picks up another kill. The Entonto off the side has to use his ultimate, but he's going to get taken down. Skara comes in. It's a double kill and an ace for Dignitas.
Well, it was a great fight for them. Last time you saw an amazing crescendo come through, the prior team fight where they won. This time, Heartbeat lost it, trying to pick up the kill on a QtPie who flashed it. Trading ace in the hole for crescendo, I will do that any time if I'm Dignitas. That is a fine trade. Marn, without that area of that crowd control, had a much harder time in that fight, and you saw a very easy cleanup.
You see QtPie here looking like he may well take this turret down. Heartbeat has formed, but he does not want to go anywhere near QtPie right now. Phantom Dance around that Bloodthirster 407. Caitlyn, a scary, scary monster. Skara now 8-1-3. He's got a lot of damage now, and you just saw him just going deep in there. Had no cares what whatsoever to just dive on that team. As soon as that crescendo was used, they knew there was nothing at all that they could use. I don't think Cataclysm was available either because Clanky D had used it on Patoy just a moment before.
Yeah, they are basically without ultimates that fight completely, and that's really the big issue there. Is you want Crescendo to make the Rumble ultimate hit you for longer. You want Crescendo or Cataclysm as well, right? The one that you mentioned. Just like this team wants to fight in a small, localized area where Dignitas cannot move, and Dignitas has to all in to fight. Like their composition would work in a 5-on-5, but Dignitas have done such a good job of finding stray kills, forcing cooldowns, forcing people to leave the fights early, that they're able to fight these lopsided battles over and over again.
They're chasing on toward Heartbeat there. Crystal Strike doesn't land from Scar. Eats an harpoon in space instead. But he's not too worried about that. He's got a heck of a lot of damage. And Heartbeat, the new support for Marn, I might add, has some questionable crescendos. Funny thing actually talking to Radius, a prolific Sona player in Against All Authority. He talks about the fact that he uses Crescendo purposely just to target that one person. So it's a difference maybe, and that's exactly what Heartbeat's been trying to do. He's been trying to get that Crescendo onto Cutie Pie, but it's not working, whereas some players obviously save that Crescendo to try and get a, you know, the big showtime hit, the 3, 4, 5 man
Billboard hit sometimes is the best way to use that. In this game,
Yeah, but the problem with Cyprus is all the economy is on the bank. We don't have economy. We have tourism and have bank. And all the banks are closed.
Waiting to get back from cooldown. And Marn are going for a chance thing here. They've got Caitlyn and Scar both very far away. This could be theirs.
Got a long way away. You can see I'm a Cutie Pie desperately running up there. The Baron's down half health already. He's going to drop very low. They're going to have to get in towards this one. They use the equalizer to keep Crumbs away. They get the Baron, and now they turn on towards Crumbs. Cataclysm. That's going to be Crumbs going down. Yentonso picking up the kill there. Can they turn it 24? I'm a Cutie Pie now joins the fight.
το ευρωπαϊκό. Ρε Μαρέν, τι σημαίνει? Τι σημαίνει Μαρέν?
And there is Heartbeat going down again. His heartbeat is not lasting too long in this game.
Yeah, that was a rough.
I remember
there, that was a miscommunication by Mark. He just went the other way of the rest of his team. And he's just so slow. Red buff came in and down right there. They're still 4-on-4, but they burned 2 ultimates for that fight, both Equalizer and Cataclysm. Marn really doesn't want to fight. Of course, they burn Heartbeat's ult too. Like, they can't fight without ults back up.
Good luck. Believe me.
Next 30 seconds.
Cutie Pie does not give his right now. He's just quite happy walking up and soloing those turrets. He's going to take away the red.
I hope there will be all the family
inhibitor, the middle inhibitor, I should say. The top lane also being pressured. Red was stolen away by Cutie Pie. He's going to go back and buy. What's he going to pick up? He's 4-0-8 right now. Goes back. Last Whisper, of course, and a 42 bomb.
And that is a pretty good amount of tank there on Cutie Pie. The interesting thing to point out there as well is you normally see Infinity Edge come out from champions like Caitlyn or Tristana who are looking to just single target damage output. But he knows he has to be self-sufficient here and survive dives. He's gotten the Bloodthirster instead. A little less damage, but a lot more durability in fights, and it's worked out well for him. 0 deaths.
And what I want to talk about as well is obviously Patoy. I mean, just look at his build right now. It's
And in September, my last might be going on the performance.
But it's Clanky D trying to engage there, not going to allow that.
Alone?
He's picked up 86
He will
CS.
go.
0-0-12. Perfect
Yeah,
score.
yeah,
actually,
okay,
we're
but
gonna talk
alone?
about that in a moment because I'm in Cutie Pie is going to get dived on. Cataclysm comes down.
But,
Monsoon isn't enough to save him. You can see Nienton so goes in, gets one more hit. He
Yeah,
does
but
take him down.
if
Nienton
you want
so
to
the shield
go,
goes
I
down.
don't know,
Scar is
to
being
go
targeted.
for a
Gets
dream,
pinned
you
down.
don't
One
want
more
for
shot.
dream, it will
And
be
that's a double
alone.
kill for Nienton. So now he's being kited. Kiwi Kid comes in, gives the assassination, and gets the hell out of there.
Yeah,
Baron buff with 3 members. They could keep pushing in on this one. You can see the damage onto the turret. Lickety puts the down to keep the push going a little bit stronger. But Batoy's got so much wave clear. He's got massive movement reduction. He's got a lot of ability power in the shield. You can see it deceptively baits Marn. They get it eventually. But Patoy, that's the funny thing, is he's actually a threat here.
He is actually a threat. See the items he's got. So take us through this. The advantage of giving your support this much CS, this much ability power.
It's really good because
teleport top again.
Yeah, well, Patoy's on a champion that actually scales with AP on every single ability. So watch the wave clear here. Look at that. Gets pretty much the entire minion wave. Like barely doesn't get the caster minions there with the Howling Gale. But also remember that both Monsoon and Eye of the Storm, the shield and his ultimate, the heal, those scale with ability power as well. To look at Patoy's ulti, It's 150 health per second for 4 seconds. So it's a 600 point AoE heal. If you look at Requiem, Requiem's only at like 780 before magic resist. Monsoon fully cancels Requiem in a team fight.
If they're in the right place at
Sure.
the right time, which has been a problem, and you would expect with that equalizer, that's the main key. Split them away from Potoy right now, and if you are watching, ladies and gentlemen, at home in solo queue, this does not justify you, the support player, to just say, hey, I've seen it on stream, I'm taking all the farm, thanks guys. I can foresee so many reports right now in the solo queue. But Echo picking up the blue buff, and you can see Kiwi Quid actually kind of come across there.
Τζάνα γιατί έχει το Elder.
No,
No, he
Echo
did.
still has it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, Echo managed to get it. It was a close one, but Echo did pick that one up. So now we can see here, we got to that late game status. Certainly these fights are chaotic. They're going back and forth over and over and over, and it's really crazy. But Dignitas, they've kind of run out of early game victories to grab, right? Dragon is a smaller impact in the game. They've already taken 6 turrets out, which can give them, of course, a victory because they can push the mid lane. But you can see the late game of Marn has started.
The equalizer goes down, keeps Cutie down. Crescendo comes across. Cutie's the target. He's taken low. There is that big high hit point Monsoon. Immediately they're putting the Domino, but they're all in the defile right now. Skara uses that Zonya's Hourglass. Requiem comes out. Will it be enough? Oh, it's a big hit, and he does take many down. Mega Zero also captured on towards Paton, but Cutie straight away. Mega Zero going down. It's AD carry versus AD carry, both equal on hit points, and everybody backs out. A 4-for-4 fight.
Wow, Mega Zero, like a full healer right there. Flash to tank the ult just to keep his AD carry alive. I tried to do the math in my head. It would have been really, really close. The Intanto had about 500-600 health. PewDiePie's ult was going to hit for about 800. So, you know, 950 actually. So, yeah, Mega said, you know what, Intanto, you're worth more on the map. I'll just flash for you.
Yeah, and he can keep the waves clear. You can see he's picking up a hell of a lot of farm. So actually, it's given him a massive wave of gold purely off that save from, as you call him, Mega Hero. So very well played there. 2014 currently in kills, 53,000 to 47,000. So that's 6,000 gold. It's been there for a while now, but it's starting to become less and less of importance because as we move on, as we start to hit 60, 70,000 gold limits, Vayne is going to get stronger. Karthus is going to get stronger. This is going to become a legitimate issue right now for Dignitas.
And you can see that he's actually playing, I'm talking about Echo here on Karthus, he's actually playing around the Zonya's Hourglass more and more, waiting until it comes up, until Skara is back and able to be hit, and then pops it and makes sure he hits the entire team really, really hard. Skara does now finally have some magic for himself. He went for the Abyssal Scepter, he kept himself alive a little bit more. But what you're seeing, though, is that front line for Marn is not really very tanky, and Mega Zero gets caught out again.
Mega Zero caught out. He's going to go down and see the damage. Did use the equalizer as well. Not too sure if it was kind of worth putting down, but it did go down regardless. It's a fairly quick cooldown on that, but it does mean Dignitas are going to have that opportunity. They're going to push straight through this open inhibitor.
And that's completely, there's the 5-on-4, there's no way Marn can reasonably contest for this whatsoever. Dignitas are now going to have complete pressure on the map for this one, and it's going to make that coming up Baron really difficult as well. Look at that, Niantato just like
We have Ginger, we have Honey,
That damage. What is he going to go with that?
we have Timian, yeah,
We've seen it a lot in
Timian.
lately, or will he just go straight for the Infinity Edge?
Maybe. I don't know, maybe. You have some mid
6
fight.
on 10 PewDiePie definitely been one of the hero ADs. Oh, look at this, they're trying to set a trap. They're trying to set a trap. Will Marn fall for it, or will they go straight down the side? You'd expect that Damashi is starting to be used to check it instead. Oh, he doesn't manage to get it, but the Wither goes down, immediately slides away. Probably the last person they wanted to hit. Flaky D there does manage to get straight away with that slide.
They've got 20 seconds till the equalizer, though. Marn does not want to fight here yet. Here comes another one. Miantato, you're... He could have gone spider there.
Flying with fire there. He has got a QSS, so he could try and clear off from that cocoon. But as it stands, Dignitas are going to trade here. They're going to go for Baron, but they could give up an inhibitor here.
Yeah, but as far as gold value is concerned, Baron is worth more. They're going to kill that right away. Patoy's already recalling. Of course, he will have shields for that turret. Niantato going to face tank this one for a little bit. They'll get maybe the inhibitor at most, but that's all they'll get. And then Dignitas will have control over the map.
Home guard, στολίζανε 3 home guards. 4, όλοι home guards.
The rest of the team have responded. They're all going to run him with the home guard boots. They come straight in. There's the equalizer going down, but Echo's going to turn. Crescendo managed to hit. Kiwi Kid uses the Zonya's Hourglass perfectly there. And then comes Skara, comes boiling in, puts us to Zonya's Hourglass down. Requiem will come out, but it's not going to quite be enough. He does take crumbs. Glink,
Τι έγινε,
he
δεν
gets
βλέπω.
dropped,
Χαμπάρ
and
την
just off
πήρα.
the side, Mega Zero, the snipe, ace in the hole, bam! Scar's going to finish him off. He's just got one more swing of that Crescent Strike, trying to wait until he gets the right time, but he couldn't quite get close enough. But it doesn't matter. It's a 4-for-2 advantage gain. I'm a Cutie Pie again, running straight up that mid lane. He's going to put a lot of pressure on towards them Nexus turrets.
That's a really, really, really good fight there from Dignitas overall. That Baron buff contributed a lot of power. Scar can convert that AP into a shield to keep him from going down. You see Patoy doing the same thing with his ability power, shielding and Monsooning to keep damage from really sticking anywhere. And that sort of AoE, right? When you look at Requiem, when you look at Rumble's ultimate, it's short duration. You kind of burst it down after 4 or 5 seconds, you kind of run out of damage there. And when you can heal up just enough and have still killed Karthus, there's no damage left to threaten, and you can mop up from there. That's what you saw Dignitas do. They just overflowed that AoE burst and cleaned up.
A huge chunk put on towards that tower. I'm a Cutie Pie again. Nearly sniped it away from Scar. Echo having to clear up duty. So, Dignitas, big advantage gained out after that fight. They did pick up the Baron, they gave him a gold advantage, and of course, more importantly, Man didn't take down that inhibitor. They got the turret down, but didn't manage to finish it off, so they're going to have to pick up a really good fight. But how is that going to develop? How is it going to open itself up? Because as it stands, I'm seeing massive advantages starting to be gained in terms of items for Dignitas here.
Yeah, exactly. Because they've gotten themselves now a 10,000 gold lead. They've stretched the lead back. Though, yeah, you see Karthus and Vayne scale a bit harder. When you get a big enough gold lead, you can use items to kind of overpower that gap, and we've seen that here. I mean, look at Skari. He's so massive, 12, 3, and 8. Like, he's just got a 2,000 gold lead over Echo. And while Echo is threatening, Scar pretty much can't go down anymore. His damage output is massive, and he's incredibly durable with Abyssal plus Zhonya's and the shield giving him extra health. That guy is going to be almost impossible to take out. If they go to like 45, 50 minutes here, Marn, and Everna 6 items, they go back to the lead because at that point gold lead's irrelevant. But for now, you've actually got Dignitas more powerful on the map.
And that really all started as well from Heartbeat. For Mega Zero, getting caught out on that top lane, and almost happened again there. You saw the team rushing towards him. Mega Zero was a long way forward on that turret. They're going to have to give this one up. There's nothing they can do to prevent this turret going down. It's going to be the 7th of the game for Dignitas, and now the pressure on towards this top lane is going to be very strong here. You can see Scar's got the Baron buff on him still, as is I'm a Cutie Pie. The rest of the team, they don't have it, but honestly, it's not actually a tell-a-lie. Patoy has it as well, which is probably going to cause a problem because he's got a lot of ability power now, picking up the needlessly large rod as well.
So I'm guessing Jeff Cap,
245 AP.
245 ability power on Ajana. He's got really, really big shields. Of course, he's just still
250
scaling throughout this game. Monsoon now hitting for 236 per tick. He's got basically 1,000 hit point AoE heal. There's a flash crescendo. They're going in on a Cutie Pie.
Heartbeat goes in for it, the flash crescendo, but he's already dead nearly. It is I'm a Cutie Pie and Scar they went for, and as you mentioned, they're just too tanky right now. Heartbeat off on the side, Requiem's going to come out, but it's not going to pick up a lot because already Scar is cleaning house. And again, the Zhonya's Hourglass, it toys with
Κοίτα ένα shield dyan!
but it's not to be. The Entonso is down, which means the field is completely open for Dignitas to run up the middle. They're going to take down the Nexus turrets, and it will be the game. Mega Zero gets pulled in, he gets poked, he gets caught out again, but it doesn't matter because it is all about the Nexus going down. It's Dignitas with the win. They do take the first win of the day as well here in the NALCS. Are they over their troubles of MLG?
It seems to be, and they are 150 IP richer for the first win of the day there. Great job.
Oh, God.
You said it, you brought it out, it's your fault.
Patoy,
But again,
Patoy.
absolutely great play by those guys. They definitely played it strategically sound. It looked like the standard Dignitas, right? Pushes everywhere, really good ganks, good pressure overall, great map presence as well. I really got to say that's a big point there. But they played it strategically very, very sound. They were against a late game team, but took all their early advantages. And you saw things that weren't even ganks. It was Crumb saying, yeah, I'm going to push top lane because we want to kill a turret because we know we'll get the turret. A champion's only worth, you know, what, 450 gold? A turret's worth 750. Heck, turrets are good things to gank too.
Well, he took the middle inner turret pretty much on his own as well. You know, he did lose his life there, but he came back and got it again. So it's like, no, that's my turret. And
Yeah.
he did take it. So
Ακουστικά δεν είναι λίγο
massive
μικρά.
advantages. Of course, we do have a replay coming up of that final fight.
yeah, let's actually break that one down. I want to see exactly what came in right there. And so you see, Marn have been kind of grouped up very, very heavily. Watch the initiation. Scar is going to find a heck of a lot with Crumbs there as well. And it's Echo going down to begin. Watch Scar. He does not even go in right away because he knows Echo is so threatening. He goes in at the end for the assassination. Zonia's is immediately after that, which just lets him never get brought down. And then he goes for Neon Tanso. Scarra waited to only find the right initiations, waited for Crescendo, waited for Equalizer, found the cleanup, or found the initiation kill on Echo, found the cleanup kill on Neon Tanso. That's how you play Diana in a hectic AoE team fight. You wait on the outside, come in late, pick up the important kills.
Yeah, and you saw him go in, and he got that moonfall on 3 members of Marn, which in itself is just boom, pulled you straight in. So, finally played out by Dignitas here. Superb play, really. I mean, is there anything in the play? I mean, Marn, they were kind of pulling into it, and then they just got caught out in a few situations. And that seems to be the real difference between the top-level NALCS teams and the bottom at the moment.
Yeah, you get to these like high tense, like, you know, super tense, like high impact moments where you don't know what the right call is because you haven't been in those crazy situations enough. And yeah, the call to say, oh, we're going to go trade inhibitor while they take Baron, they underestimated how long it would take for Baron to go down. They underestimated home guard boots. Like, contesting Baron was fine there. They had 5 members. The Rumble ult was up in like 10 seconds. They would have been okay to say, yeah, you know what, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. It looked like GGU versus Curse way back in the beginning, where they said, guys, we can dive the Nexus. Shoot, no, we can't.
Yeah, and of course, you think back to really the few little plays that turned it. It was about they dived on Patoy, so that ulti had used, bam, Dignitas turned it into a 4-on-2 advantage. Again, Heartbeat, sorry, keep calling Heartbeat. To be fair, Heartbeat missed quite a few crescendos, although saying missed is harsh. Maybe it's the reactions of Cutie flashing out of them, seeing them coming. I mean, that's...
You can flash crescendo.
That's like a point couple of seconds. Milliseconds, isn't it, really, to be able to do that?
Yeah, so basically every spell in the game has a quarter-second cast time. So anytime you see a Sona flash at you, you're like, she's flashing for a power chord. Like, no, she's flashing for crescendo. So you see her come in, you've got at least a quarter second, then you've got the actual travel time of the crescendo as well. And of course, props to Cutie, he did a very good job of, again, reading the situation, flashing out. But yeah, that's key. He's looking for it. If, hey, if he doesn't have flash, we'll kill Cutie. Okay, shoot, not overextended.
Yeah, and of course Heartbeat getting keep calling Heartbeat Mega Zero getting called out in that top lane was definitely the key. It kind of opened up the middle for them, and the inhibitor went down after that.
Exactly, and I think that's part of what pressured them to try to steal that middle inhibitor away as well. They said, guys, we're going to lose pressure on the map. If we sit here and dance for Baron forever, minions will push our base, and that's going to be really big, difficulty for us. So let's try to trade things. Maybe we'll get a big lead out of that. It didn't happen, unfortunately, for Marn, but it was, again, it was a nice try.
And still, and you got to think, this is Marn. This is a new lineup for Marn as well. There's been a lot of changes in that lineup. The Entonso's first game, how do we think? He did a very good job, I thought, on Vayne.
Yeah, again, losing team. His team is down 11 kills. He's still at 6, 5, and 7. Again, I called Vayne versus Kate a pretty rough match. He was rocky in a couple points in minions, but you pointed out a couple times he was ahead. Still ended 292 to 281 in minion kills. So again, overall, had a very strong performance there. But yeah, it was more strategic in terms of, I think, where Marn fell down. But they certainly showed they can hang with the best of them.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we're going to have an interview with Crumbs from Dignitas, and then it's time for our second match of the day, which will be TSM versus Complexity. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us here is Crumbs from Dignitas. Another great win for you guys, chasing that top of the league that you gave up at MLG. I mean, let's talk about the game straight away. Let's not mess around. In fact, no. I want to talk about MLG because I can see the grimace on your face the moment I mentioned it. It was a rough patch for you guys over there.
It was. You learn. I just want to remember what we learned and not how we learned it. So let's just.
What'd you learn?
How not to. What Odie says, you need to learn how to lose before you learn how to win. So we learned how to lose pretty bad.
Well, I mean, we saw the video at the start about MLG. You talked about the distractions that you get. Is that simply a case of you guys have got so used to now the studio environment here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I prefer the studio environment. It's more professional. It's like you go in, you do your thing, and then you get out and you go back to practicing it. And then MLG, you have all these things that you can do at night. You can do even while playing in the game. So you know you can get a bit carried away, get off track, and sometimes you have some days that you have less willpower. So
which is interesting because I remember when the studio environment was set up, a lot of the players were like, I want a big crowd, I want a thing. They got used to it, and now you guys have kind of just got used to the environment, so you really enjoyed it playing it here. I mean,
I do.
You looked pretty much in your element there.
Yeah, I really like it here.
So let's go into the game. Pick some bans straight away. They didn't give you Kale this time around, but they did give you Diana. It seems to be what Scarra falls back on, and Elise, more importantly, which is something that we either see Elise or Singe from Kiwi Kid. Both were available. Went with Elise, though.
We were very surprised they let us have Elise. Elise is such a champion that everybody's picking it. It's really overpowered right now. It's got everything that you could want in a champion, pretty much. You can use it in any comp. It has multiple roles. Everything is just so good, and we just couldn't pass the opportunity to not play it. We wanted to, from the bans, we decided we were focusing on top lane. We banned Renekton, Shen, and Aurelia, so 3 top lanes. And then with the first pick Elise, that's taking another top lane out of the pool. And then they picked the top lane early, which maybe if they banned Elise, we would have taken Rumble, perhaps, and further denying top lane even more. So I feel like the game is at a point that there's so many overpowered or just strong champions in general that you can't afford to say, oh, I'm just going to drop one ban here on this champion, one ban over there, and here. I think like you just have to focus them all on one person or on one strategy, so that you actually have a more defined goal of how you're going to play the game.
So that's why you focused on Mega Zero, I guess, at the start. You pretty much pinned him out and said, all your champions, no, you're not having them.
Yeah.
And Freaky, you mentioned it in the picks and bans, like how you think he's a fairly shallow pool of players.
Yeah, like why did you ban Mega Zero specifically, or why ban Top Lane specifically this time?
It's a champion, is a player we know most about, and the one that we know has a champion pool, a defined champion pool that we are aware of. So doing that, you know, it's a lot easier to play. For instance, they recently picked up Nintanso, and is such a new player, you just don't know what he's going to be playing, and then they switch support roles, you just don't know what he's going to be playing. It's all a bunch of things like that, and having players that have a set champion pool makes it a lot easier to ban them out. Or not just ban them out, just put them into a champion that you know they're going to be playing, so you know what you're going to be up against, so therefore you can practice playing against that.
Cool. Knowing what you know now, playing Marn with his new lineup, would you change anything next time?
What do you mean?
Like, so you'll play Marn another time in this season.
Yeah.
What would you change?
Oh, I don't know about. I have no idea.
Okay.
I want to go in towards Nasus. You guys have picked it up. Europe have been, I feel, fairly slow picking this champion up. You're fairly quick picking this champion up, but the American scene slowly moving towards it. What are the benefits you see from Nasus, say, over, I don't know, the likes of Volibear, or other junglers you'd go with now?
Wither. That's pretty much it.
Wither.
Wither. 95% attack speed still, that's so detrimental. That's pretty much a stun that you don't even have to aim. You just wither.
So is that why you didn't, Patoy didn't take exhaust, because you were withering on the Entonso the whole time?
I'd rather not speak into that, since that's kind of, you know, you want to keep some strategies to yourself and all that, but no, just wither in general is such a strong skill against AD carries, and pretty much everybody in general, even the Karthus wouldn't like to be withered. So think about it like that.
Yeah, absolutely took him away from it. How do you think the game went itself? I mean, did it go to plan? You took out, you just exercised the standard strategy, take all the outer turrets, working towards the inner. You pretty much took the inner turret on your own in the middle, bottom lane, the rest of the team were there. Everything went to plan, as it were. I mean, we thought, Mana got a late game team. They're taking their time on this one.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought I was taking too much time, but just going against Karthus is such a pain because he can shove so fast. So I think that's why we went a little bit more cautious, because having them have Jarvan, who is sort of a long-range ganker, with the Karthus Global and their Rumble ulti that's such long range, you have to be a bit more careful how you tread around the enemy's base.
Cool. So looking forward to the rest of your season here. We've just, you know, passed the halfway point. You're in a second place. How are you going to retake first?
Winning. That's pretty much it, winning.
All right.
I mean, that's the obvious answer, really.
I can't see any other way.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think it's going to be down heavily to your matches versus Curse?
No, this is going to be to every match. We have to win all of them. It doesn't even matter if we beat Curse or we lose against them. We have to win the majority.
That is the truth as well. You're going to have to keep on top of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Team Solo Mid to take on Complexity. Laudamornis of Complexity had a great week at MLG. Let's see which member of TSM he's targeting today and why.
TSM is just one of the oldest League of Legends teams, like, ever.
They came into the season a little weaker, but they picked up steam and they look like a pretty dominant team.
Playing against TSM in scrims we're okay, but like when it comes to LAN, we're not as experienced, so it's gonna be pretty tough.
The person you really look to get behind in gold is Reginald, because he makes their calls and you want to get him out of his game.
They never really give us a tough time, and that's pretty much what I think about Complexity.
We're just gonna see who brings their game.
Let's see who brings their game, and that is the big question, of course. TSM was the only team at MLG to defeat Complexity last week, but as many of you may have heard, Chaos is taking a break from the team, and now Wild Turtle will be filling the AD carry role for TSM. Freak, how do you see this one affecting the team, especially, you know, that duo lane, and how it's going to affect this match?
Well, it's really, really interesting because TSM had just celebrated their like 1-year anniversary of a stable lineup. March 13th was the day that Dyrus joined as a top laner, replacing the Rain Man, and they had a slew of victories with that new lineup change, and it worked really, really well. And then here they have like another sub coming in here, right? They've got Wild Turtle in there. Now, Wild Turtle is actually really, really good. And he actually has a history as a sub. He played for Legion in the mid lane at IPL Face-Off, brought them to 2nd place. Scar was tweeting him like, dude, that Gragas, how do I play Gragas like Scar, who's like known for Gragas, like Wild Turtle, teach me your ways. So, I mean, he can definitely show up and perform really, really well.
Yeah, and of course, Dyrus versus Nick Wu in that top lane. too close, really.
No, last time these guys fought, like just a week ago, it was actually a pretty rough matchup. TSM did a really, really good job there. Dyrus especially had a really good match. And that was kind of how these teams match up. Like, there's always like one thing that happens that pulls TSM ahead of Complexity. The first time these guys matched, it was a very close game throughout. It took a while for the first kills. It was a very, very equal game, but it was like Reginald Zareth that would like bring someone to 10% health, force them out of the fight and say, okay, 5v4, we get Dragon. Or, oh, we killed you, we can start Baron. Or, okay, you've been forced out, we can push a turret. You know, again, last time it was Dyrus squeaking ahead slightly. It's always one thing that pushes TSM ahead.
And it tends to be the thing between the top laners that once you've got that advantage, you just absolutely crucify them. Of course, Loudermornis, he's kind of the key guy for Complexity. It's the guy we've been focusing on. He's got his Rammus hat on today. Do you think we're going to see a Rammus?
I don't know. We haven't seen him much overall. I know Cyanide plays him a little bit. We've got a couple of guys who bring out Rammus once in a while. But certainly his big thing is counter ganking, being at the right place at the right time. If you go back and watch his matches against Dignitas, the very first game at MLG, he was basically there in time to stop Crumbs.
Two double kills, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. 2 double kills by 7 minutes in, like reading the situation, showing up over and over again. Even if his other teammates would lose one-on-one fights, he would show up and he literally just repeatedly double killed and carried a game on Shogun of all champions. And you know, he just is such a high impact player for Complexity. He's got to be on point and find the odd one.
So, speaking of the odd one, let's check out the lineups, of course. The blue side, it is going to be Team Solo mid. It is going to be Dyrus in the top lane, the odd one in the jungle, Reginald in the mid. Wild Turtle, you can see him there, all happy. He's the AD carry today, and X Special has his support.
And of course, on the red side, we do have Complexity. Nick Wu in the top lane, Loudermortis in the jungle, Chuper that mid laner, Brunch Hugh and MIA on AD carry and support.
So, picks and bans, what are we thinking between these two teams? Bearing in mind, it's just only been 1 week past since they played each other. TSM's so strong in that game, really. It was not a close matchup.
No, I mean, and what we've seen really is that Nick Wu, we can't call him like the Instalock Zed player anymore. We've talked about that one a lot, and he's let that champion go 2 to 3 times in a row now. And so I can't really predict that as a ban. It seems like no one's really respecting that pick anymore. We've seen him actually pick up Rumble a heck of a lot, kind of over and over again. And we say that Rumble works pretty okay on low farm. He's got that equalizer no matter what. He's pretty impactful. But he's still just had a rough time in lane. But you still don't want to be down 50 minion kills on your opponent. Even if you're in form, you're letting your opponent farm. Is kind of a rough place to be. Chuper's been running a lot of assassins. Kha'Zix's been in there a whole heck of a lot. Of course, Reginald can play assassins as well. So the only thing I can really predict successfully, I think, here is that Brunch Yu has been playing long-range carries over and over again. He's been Varus and Caitlyn pretty much non-stop.
Varus and Caitlyn, when we do see the Complexity on your screen, they did see them earlier on in the show. I'm talking about MLG, and you know, how much do you think that grows on these players? The fact that they've come into these big events and now suddenly they're finding themselves these stances, not just TSM, COG, which has been on the North American scene for a heck of a long time. Suddenly these teams, your Complexities, your Vulcans, they're turning up at these events and everybody knows that they are now. So is that going to affect them sort of mentally, you know, as a player? It's like, whoa, actually, I am in the big time now.
Yeah.
I am at their level. I'm not this guy that's trying to struggle to get in there. I am actually at their level, and everybody knows who I am now.
It can be interesting because traditionally, like in Season 1 and Season 2, you would show up to in-person events, right? Like, look back at current GGU, back when they were Team Dignitas, or Team Dynamic, back when they were on Maniac, right? They show up as a nobody, and they get 4th, and they get a little bit of fans. They show up again and get 4th again, and they kind of grow more fans over time, and so they get their, kind of a stable rise. Or people here, they're in a studio, they're not in front of a live audience, and then suddenly they come to a major tournament, and they've done all that rising in private, more or less, and suddenly they're up here as big fan favorites, and people care about them a whole lot, and like, whoa, and it actually is more of a shock than normal. And that actually can, you know, shake you up a little bit. Of course, they're back in the studio here. Again, you talked to Crumbs, and he said he just kind of felt at home, felt nice to be back in the studio. I think that's kind of true for these guys, that they'll play a strong game.
Well, I mean, it's only natural that they get used to their environments as well. Sure. You know, once they're used to playing in a set environment, the fact that they don't have that crazy cheering going on when they create that first blood, they actually can just focus on their team game as effectively as if they're at home.
And it was interesting, too, because, yeah, going to MLG, right, and it being different, right, and a little bit shaky, Complexity of all teams performed among the best there, right?
Yeah.
They had 2 really, really good victories there in a foreign environment. One of them against Dignitas, who've been all over the world. Like, they've competed in foreign countries and
They've been
did
in
really
Korea,
well.
they've been in Europe, been in
Exactly.
In fact, they were in the World Championships in Intel Extreme Masters, so they've been everywhere.
Right, and then again, Complexity is a team that says, well, not a lot of us have a lot of LAN experience, but screw it, yeah, we'll beat Dignitas, no big deal. And so certainly they're a team that's prone for upsets. They have great performances, and they seem to really not care about the surroundings too much either. So, you know, even though on the site, again, lolesports.com, you guys can vote on who you think is going to win. The top 4 teams always end up being the favorites as far as the votes go, but Complexity, again, time and again, we see them have a really good shot here.
Well, you say the top 4, but I'm already seeing, I've seen it in the European scene, and I'm seeing it in the American scene. You know, even the teams that at the very beginning of the season, everybody's like, wow, they're just going to get dunked. They're going to be right at the bottom of the pile. But they're all picking up wins. Everybody is taking wins off everybody. The only team that's really kind of stayed away from being beaten by the lesser teams is Curse, I feel, right now.
And that's really the funny thing, too, is when you look at the season to start, you're like, oh, yeah, well, it's a CLG, and it's TSM, and it's Dignitas. Like, they've been the top 3 in North America for, like, almost literally ever. And they've all taken a backseat to Curse, who were like, yeah, I mean, we expect them to go through the qualifiers, but, I mean, they're the 4th team in North America. Like, they're pretty good. And it's like, no, they're the best team in North America. And, you know, even Dignitas, right? 2 losses in a row at the start of the season. Came back up to first, now at 2nd place. And then, yeah, pretty much every one of the bottom 4 teams has beaten someone in the top 4. Again, only Curse has really failed to get upset so far. Like, these guys can beat each other repeatedly, and the only thing you see that's different is consistency.
Yeah, and the one thing that we did hear about, that we're going to have to touch on, is the temptations of MLG. And that is something that's affected TSM. Chaos is not here this week because of those temptations.
Yeah, he went out, my understanding of the reports is he went out partying a little bit, like he went out giving a couple of his friends some tours instead of practicing like on game day. And that's always kind of a rough thing, right? Again, you know, Crumbs talked about it, you talked about it. It is a big deal. I mean, I used to compete as well, and having roommates come in late at 4 a.m. and you know, to the hotel room and be like, well, you know, I was out partying or drinking whatever, and it just disrupts you, right? Like losing sleep just ruins your mental state. Like, a lot of things can go wrong at a live event. Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's someone else's fault, but you've got to persevere through it. And again, TSM, they are professionals, right? Their job is to play League of Legends. They have their own house. They are salaried. Like, this is what they do for a living. And to kind of throw that away and kind of slap it and say, actually, I'm just going to go mess around today, haha. Like, it's kind of like, you know, even if it was their choice to say, no, KX, you're benched, you're not putting in the right effort, like, in my opinion, I think that's the right choice by them. That they should say, hey, you need to take this seriously or you don't get to play.
Which is a big deal, and it's also a big pressure on that guy on your screen right now, Wild Turtle, and technically, Special as well. I mean, he's the support. He's played with KX for as long as I can remember. I mean, you talked about a year lineup, but he was way before that. It's probably 2-year lineup now. That he's been playing alongside KX easy.
It's been a very, very long time. I remember watching streams like back when KX first joined, like, yeah, months and years ago, really, and that is one of those big stable bottom lanes, and it's not the explosive bottom lanes you see from someone like Doublelift, where it's like, it's the Doublelift lane, and he kills things with Vayne all the time, but they had always been very, very stable. You'd always seen them put up good numbers. Like, I couldn't easily define their playstyle aside from, like, it's safe and it always works, but they had always put up numbers. They'd always put up good stats. They performed excellently, and they had just such a great mental game on how to play, right? They always played every lane correctly, even if they weren't exploding kills or, again, being Doublelift basically, who's just like the one guy who kind of takes over games by himself. They were always so successful. So Wild Turtle Special, doesn't even sound the same. Like KX Special, they share an X, you can kind of say it together. Wild Turtle Special, it doesn't roll. It's more of a square than a circle. It doesn't roll as well.
He has to round those edges off. Wow, look at the big yawn on X Special there. It's been a long night for him, and maybe he's been having thoughts about this match as well. I mean, you've got to think what's going through his mind right now. But obviously, we've seen, you know, the I think it's safe to say.
Ο Special κοιμάται. Το χάσανε.
Things are not going well in his life, and now he's got his partner in crime stepping out for the week, and it plays on these guys. So it's you know, the support guy is a big part of the team.
It can, and it really depends on how strong he is in his mind, because like certainly, like, I think everyone's been in a game where they're just distracted, something's going on, and you can't focus, and you just miss things. You miss a guy running through a ward, you miss a timing on something, you forget to buy an item properly. Like, you can lose your focus and just make stupid mistakes you would never make in a normal day. And sometimes you can shut it all out and say, it's game time, and you just play. And it just depends on the person. It depends on how severe any of the issues are. And I don't know, right? I don't know Special all that well. I'm not inside his brain. I'm not telepathic. Sadly, I did not evolve that. And you know, it just depends. Like, he might just be able to block it out and persevere and play 100%. And we'll see. We're in a champion select.
So, picks and bans, what are we thinking? Bans straight away.
Well, I like the trend, the obvious trend of Kale, 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 Kale. We've seen Autumn play a lot of Sinjao and Jarvan. Those are a big one. I'm going to guess, you know, Nikwu Rumble, Trooper Kha'Zix, Brenshu on Kate, or Varus. Mostly Varus. I think like the Varus Rumble combo they really, really like. They get crowd control to make sure the equalizer hits. And we're seeing a lot of good target guns. Renekton and Elise, great top laners to get rid of.
And we're seeing a lot of Thresh bans coming out. It's something we've touched on in Europe a lot of. The supports actually say, I don't think Thresh is that strong. It's more about the player. You know, if the player can play it, then yeah, it's definitely a ban, but there's not a lot of supports that can.
It's interesting because, yeah, he's not like he's overpowered in his own right or whatever, but in a highly competitive, like, super hardcore team with a lot of mechanical skill, he just does crazy things. There was, I think it was a Dignitas game, actually. This was their last one against Good Game University, was it? I think their victory. Like, Cutie Pie got away with 12 health like 14 times from Lanterns. It was like, you just like would not go down with 200 health left over and over and over again. And it was just like so heartbreaking to see. You know, I guess on GGU's side, we're going through, of course, the last few bans. Complexity, they are really targeting Dyrus right here. If they leave him, wow, they're getting rid of Draven. So they've at least done some research on Wild Turtle and Noah's champion before they've removed Draven from him.
Yeah, so let's see what the first pick will be. As Dyrus has that choice. Of course, it could be any lane. Top lane has been one of the first picks a lot lately in pretty much all of the teams, I think. I'm even thinking back to the Korean teams. They always used to go for the Singed when it's available.
Yeah.
Dyrus has talked about Singed a bit, saying how it's his main champion. And, you know, I hope nobody's been watching because I really want to play it. But we do see the Card Master coming out. 87.5% win ratio already. Pulling that stat out in Stadium, the old noggin.
Yep. He's 7-1 so far, North American LCS. And again, at MLG, Reginald said, if I can get Twisted Fate, I will pick him, I will play him. And they first picked that. And it's always interesting to see when people do first pick solo laners, because it always puts you in a situation where the world is open for counter picks. The only mid laner, or only common mid laner, even removed from this lineup here, is Kale. So the world is open for Complexity to pick anything they want to shut down Twisted Fate. And Reginald says, yeah, that's fine. I'll play him.
And the sad mummy might come out. Loudamornis hovering over that one, locking it in. So
yep.
we will see him on the Amumu and Lulu being picked up as well by Complexity.
So this is interesting because Complexity is opening very safely here. Now, they have given away a little bit from the jungle. They know that strong counter jungling will be very effective against Amumu. He doesn't duel very well, so if he like sees a Sinjao or release in, he's got to be, okay, your jungle, I'll back off, I'll let you take that one. But it does set up for really strong team fighting. We saw Marn go for a similar strategy, team fight-centric sort of lineup. That is what Mumu means here. With TSM looking for Caitlyn, who's actually very, very smart, and the Shen. These are both great choices because you can split push to break apart a team fight comp. And you've got a long-range Caitlyn who will never get caught by Curse the Sad Mummy, and so Wild Turtle will get free damage out all game.
Simply reacting to the picks and straight away here, TSM. Showing their experience, so we do see Dyrus on that Shen. Of course, it could be the odd one. It could potentially be the odd one, but I'm expecting it probably will be Dyrus. We'll see what Complexity pick out here. They've got their AD carry selected on TSM. They know what they're up against. The question is, will they be up against it? And we've seen a lot in the North American scene. Split pushing, potentially going to come out. And Zed is going to get locked in for Nick Wu.
So they are going to like the Zed pick coming through here. Thing is, he will be able to get onto Caitlyn. But it's a Caitlyn Shen on the team that will really help her in not getting bursted out by Nick's combos. So, you know, I still think that Wild Turtle will be safe here. But they have shown that TSM is not a very assassin-heavy lineup. Twisted Fate doesn't participate all that much on the back line in team fights unless he goes Zonias and just dives it hardcore with his ultimate. Shen, again, the same way, does not put out a lot of damage on the back line. And so they can actually reliably play something like Kog'Maw and say, yes, you know, I'll be alive here. You guys won't kill me first. I'll bombard your front line.
So the odd one looking like he's going to be a man and take Shinzao. Sona also being hovered over by X Special. When he locked that one in to choose alongside Caitlyn, wouldn't surprise me. It's definitely a strong poke lane, and we have seen the odd one on Xin Zhao a heck of a lot.
It's just really, really strong, and again, he's going to have a really good time heads up against Laura Mortis as a Mumu. Xin Zhao will win a one-on-one duel in almost all scenarios. He'll tend to out-gank him as well.
Well,
Mumu has better
that
clear
KX
speed and
is
slightly
drunk,
better
he's
team
home.
fight presence, so we'll see if it gets to that stage of the game. But there's, of course, a lot of early game pressure available here for TSM. I would expect Complexity to lane swap this. I don't think Lulu Cog is going to do well against Kate Sona. And so we'll see what kind of games arise from that. But we're looking for their last, presumably mid-lane pick here. They know he's going to be heads up against TF, unless they go for a 2-on-1 swap.
So what would you go with? What would you pick?
I mean, they're looking to be very team fight based. It's difficult because they can't stop Shen's ultimate at all with Zed. Honestly, something work here because they could just play Protect the Cog and fight 4v5s with just Kog'Maw and Kiting and Lulu, Kog'Maw, and Mumu. So Ori works there. If they go Diana, that says, okay, look, you and Zed will just go and try to kill Kate. Cog, you're kind of on your own, and Mumu is going to be all the appeal you get. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, we saw in Europe they had a Cassidin alongside a Zed before. It was Fnatic that ran that one. Very much a gank strategy. What I want to know is, why would they go for the Kog'Maw over the Misfortune when they've got the Mumu in there?
It's just a different sort of play style here. Like, they could go for an area of effect team fight kill, but because they grabbed Zed, they're looking more for single target. Kog'Maw's more self-sufficient when like Shen gets up in his face than Misfortune, who has basic attacks that aren't nearly as powerful. So they're not trying to burn down TSM's lineup all at once. They're trying to send Nick Wu and Chupa towards Caitlyn, and they're letting Brunch Yu kill Shen or Xin Zhao, and then kind of work at it from both ends.
So what do we see? Okay.
That's not all
He's lining out Wild Turtle for his first game of TSM. His official game is going to be on Caitlyn alongside him X Special. I think we're probably going to see standard lane setups here. Bearing in mind TSM do have that Twisted Fate. He's going to stick around that mid lane for a while at the start.
Τι ακόμα, χτες και προχτές δεν ήταν.
It's hard to say. I don't think Twisted Fate's early game. It's a lot like Cards, basically, where it's unsafe, a little bit hard to last hit under turret. Actually, more so for TF than for Cards.
Jail. Ναι. Ναι.
So Complexity
Couch
can
trip.
send to mid and just shove TF around and really make his life difficult.
We will always
and then
remember
Diana
him.
can just, again, they're on red team. They can give Diana that blue buff at the bottom lane and just let
Πάμε
him
να παίξω Drag Racing.
survive and try to last hit.
Μας έχουν
pressure
κάνει
strikes. Like that's probably an okay setup overall.
Τάντερο.
I think they want to give Kog'Maw an easy lane. I think he will have a terrible time trying to fight against Kate. And if they are in that situation, they have Complexity.
So overall, who do we think has the advantage after those picks? Obviously, we know Kog'Maw's a late game champion.
Yeah.
He's going to try and get to that point. Are they going to be able to get there with TSM's lineup?
I really like TSM's lineup. They have two global teleports with Shen and Twisted Fate. They've got a great ganker in Xin Zhao, and they can gank for any lane there, right? They've got a lot of crowd control to add to any lane. They can gank for Caitlyn Sona. They can just all pile into Shen's lane. They can pile into Reginald's lane. Like, no matter what they go for, they're going to find kills most likely. So early pressure from TSM is going to be so high, it might not reach late game.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you have just joined us, this is game 2 of the day here in the North American LCS. Your ears do not deceive you. I am here over from the European continent, and we've sent Jap to France. It's Team Solo Mid as the blue team, Complexity as the red team, and straight away we're seeing a potential invasion.
Από τι μου φτύνει ρε μαλάκα στην εκκίνηση ο πούστης.
Pretty strong from them. They've got a much stronger early game lineup. They've got a Shen taunt. They've got a gold card. And MA is walking right.
Ω, ναι! Ούτε φλάζ δεν έκανε. Καλά. Καλά το έκανε. Δεν παίζει να ζούσε.
Drag Racing στο κινητό παίζει.
That's really, really strong. Twisted Fate's going to scale so well with
OP.
game items. Just getting Machine out there, a couple Doran's rings out
Ψέκασε.
there earlier. So strong. And the funny thing about that gank too is just
Με γαμάει
TSM
στην
was just
εκκίνηση ρε
more
φίλε.
ready than Complexity was. They both ran their straight as soon as possible, but TSM started first.
Started first, a little bit of late buy-in possibly from MIA does create that issue for him. So we do see the lanes starting to set themselves up. As it stands, it's potentially going to be Brunchu in that top lane against Dire. So it will be a 2v1 in the top, 2v1 in the bottom. We do see Nick Wu heading down that way, so it's looking like it's going to be standard switch lanes for North America.
This is going to be a pretty default setup here. They do want to give Kog'Maw that nice lane. Of course, the early double golem's really useful for them as well. It's really the reason you tend to see lane swaps actually is more just to make sure that your AD carry gets to be on equal footing. Wild Turtle and everyone had an easy job in the bottom lane here. And they have sent Chuper towards the bottom, so they're sending actually Nick Wu to heads up against Twisted Fate, which will actually be a pretty decent matchup. He should have good damage there.
And I wonder whether Reginald's actually
Άλλος λέει, οκ,
Θα του κάνει, θα βάλει ροζ και θα το σπάσει.
He was
Ah,
very
okay.
well ready, and it's
Επειδή
great.
σκότωσε
It's
το
amazing how much this
Σκάρα.
player is reading the situations to see these things. You know, the fact that he was fully expected
Ανεκδοτό.
to be against Nick Wu.
Yeah, he's got, I mean, he basically just did the,
Pero-
I know someone's going to try to screw with me. He did flat armor and flat MR for marks and glyphs, so he's just like, yes, I need to survive the early game. All I need to do is get to the late game and start getting the ganks going, so he itemized early.
They pinged on towards Laudamonis there. We do see X Special moving up towards it to see if he can try and harass. As it stands, he's going to be going in 2v1, doesn't get in there in time, but did he force the ignite? Was he going to go for the smite there, or would he have tried to save it?
I don't know. I feel like Laudamonis actually wants a blue buff to jungle. It's just something that Amumu really wants to get his first clears out. Chuper was just trying to go to share experience to try to hit level 2. Problem is, though, they've got no pressure, and so Reginald can go for this back line dive, and he's got to be careful, because here he comes.
And there is the pressure. He's going to come around. He's going to get that stun card down on Chupa, but will it be enough? You can see he's just going to really pressure him away from this one, but immediately he's going to realize there's problems. Chupa's turned around for this one. Laudamonis is coming in, and he's just running straight down river. Wants to get the hell away from it.
Of course, he has been spotted. There is a ward right down there. Complexity,
Toju.
actually, Nick Wu getting found out by
Hold
the
on,
Auden.
Zin.
He's going for a lot of pressure here. Pops on the 3 Talon Strike. Of course, there's no follow-up there for the Auden. He does not have a Reginald anywhere nearby. Who attempting for that dive. Again, just could not quite find it. But Laudamonis is now playing what's pretty much normal here on 2-on-1s like this.
Μόνο
You
γιατί την
basically
εβδομάδα θα
camp your lane
δικαιωθεί.
with the jungler because the shared experience means you don't actually lose much XP overall. And being a 2-on-3 instead of a 1-on-3, you're actually not zoned out very much either. And you keep that turret alive just a little bit longer. We actually want to see how well that top lane is doing. You're now seeing Complexity start their own dive as well. The problem is they've started so much later. TSM will get a free turret, and it will be almost definitely unanswered.
So as it stands, Complexity keeping pressure on this top lane while that bottom lane is almost certainly going to go down. 5,000 gold between them, and Laudamonis is just having to hang around there. Reginald again coming back in with the next wave. Gonna have that slow card, throws it on towards Laudamonis, and actually a lot of pressure comes down on him. You see the pilt over Peacemaker coming across, and he's forced to back away. That is going to be the first turret of the game. 2 solo mid picking it up, and that's going to stretch their gold lead. Meanwhile, Dyrus in this top lane is doing a really good job at defending it out. He's managed to keep just half a hit point difference there because Laudamonis has been down that bottom lane the whole time. Odd One, meanwhile, has been pretty much solo in this mid lane. Catches onto doors, Nick Wu gets the 3 Talon Strike down, bounces him in the air. That red buff doing wonders for him, and he's getting a lot of farm as well in this mid lane. 22, you can see CS compared to 12. Of course, Reginald has been missing out. He's only got 9 CS right now. But if you look at Chupa, he's only got 4.
Yeah, it was definitely a conscious choice by TSM there. Something we're actually seeing, I think, a lot different here in North America, really, is that they're basically ganking turrets. Like, they realized they were not going to kill Chupa. They're not going to kill Laudamonis. They said, you know what? A 3-on-2, though, we can pressure the structure down. Let's go for it there. And it worked straight up. And TSM are actually still pushing here 2-on-1. Chupa's life still difficult.
And now that Reginald has returned to that mid lane, Nick Wu's trying to get pressure on him, but look at Nick Wu's 44 CS. He's been having a storm in the meanwhile in his top lane. Prince Yu's going to get caught out. He's surely going to get dropped here. It will be the odd one. And now MIA is going to have to run away from it, but that Kenyan surprise is going to come out.
Lol.
Dyrus is forced to back off to his turret.
Now, what a powerful gank that was as well. Shen actually managed to pull turret aggro onto Kog'Maw with that taunt. The knockup came so recently afterwards from the Auden as well. The extra crowd control
θα κάνει
really
διάλειμμα.
meant a heck of a lot there. That was a beautifully orchestrated dive.
Για μία εβδομάδα.
See Reginald coming back in towards that mid lane. Laudamonis has been trying to create problems, but not able to get very far. This bottom lane in Team Solo mid, they're not switching it up. They're continuing the pressure on this bottom inner turret.
And the only thing that's really saving Complexity right now is that Nick Wu has just a million farm right there. 55 minions on him. He's going to be the force here, so we'll see if that ends up mattering much. Of course, TSM have just so much pressure on the map. And you can see how well Dyrus and Ablin run away from MIA and Brunch. Nick Wu's looking for something, though. I don't think he can turret dive this properly, though. I don't think he'll get it.
Well, he is going to come up there. Dyrus is very low on health, hasn't hit 6. He's going to try and back away straight away. Is Nick Wu going to panic here? Will he go for it too early? No, he's just going to back off instead. Realizes, saw MIA, keep a vision of them, and realize they are all backing off. So Nick Wu's going to go back and buy. Let's see what he picks up. Brutalizer straight away, along with that ward. Reginald, meanwhile, has been given a bit of time in that mid lane, as well as Chupa in the bottom to try and get some farm, try and play catch up. 26 to 20 between those two. but 55 to 19 between the two top laners. Is that going to pay dividends for Complexity late game?
We'll see if it ends up happening. I mean, they're certainly basically banking on Kog'Maw, Nick Wu, and Schuper. The one thing about Diana's itemization is she builds like 1 or 2 damage items early and then builds kind of half tanky. They're going on a Wild Turtle though.
They're going aggressive. He's had to cleanse out of this one, but the bandage toss comes in from Louder Mortis. They should finish him off here, and it will be Nick Wu that picks up the kill. They're going to turn back on towards X Special. A bandage toss will be back up in a moment. He tries to bait him around. He's keeping Nick Wu away, but now you can see the odd one. He comes in, forces the flash from Nick Wu. He's going to try and go back on towards X Special, but they're keeping the pressure down, and the odd one forces them away.
And that was great mechanics by Nick Wu overall. You saw him put the clone down and pull Odd One towards his main body. Waited for 2 hits of 3 Talon Strike, pulled him as far away as possible, and then swapped it and got himself away. That was nice. Mechanics there by Nick Wu was a good Zed play, and of course, great gank overall. Completely worth it, of course, for Complexity.
Potential ward placement coming out from MIA, but he's going to put it right in the odd one's face.
Superman χαμήλωσε λίγο ή κάνει κάτι με το
They know that Louder Mortis is nearby, and the odd one's setting up for this one. Bandage tosses across. They realize he's there, and TSM are going to try and react to this one.
It's going to be really, really brutal, though. It's going to be close. Here he comes in.
He's going to go straight for it. MIA getting caught out. He's going to get dropped down. Will he be able to get away from it? He's taking so low, but the rest of Complexity do come in. Nick Wu also taking a lot of damage. Wild Turtle pursues, and here goes which one will he go for? He uses the vision to try and catch them out. You can see the power slowing down Louder Mortis. Builds over Peacemaker, catches across him, but they're not going to chase doing this one. Expect one more hit on towards Louder Mortis. He'd go down, but they do bully them away. Great coverage from TSM.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice pickup there. And the unfortunate thing for Complexity on that steal was that while Louder Mortis smited it, he got it low, and Nick Wu last hit that. He went down to Wild Turtle. So Caitlyn on TSM is actually wearing the Golem buff here. Brunchy, of course, came back. It was a nice slow, but that was a very well executed sort of counter invade by TSM. It was well played.
So 3-1 currently kills TSM advantage. Turrets very much even 1-1. The goal difference is 1,000 to TSM, and they're pressuring this mid lane, but you can see Complexity. There's 4 of them already coming out for this one. Can they get around the side? Nick Wu with that Fortitude Potion. Oh, he tried to go aggressive on towards Wild Turtle. Does manage to pop him down. Deathmark has gone down on him. He will get popped. Absolute explosion there, and he gets the double kill as X Special goes down.
And he had barely any assist credit as well. The bottom lane, the flashing for Trooper, but it's only a red card.
Oh, and he's going to come in. It's the 3,000 strike. Will it be enough? The shield goes down from Jupe, but he's got no turret to run to. So the odd one's going to pursue this one. But he's got to be careful. The rest of the team are all collapsing on him. He may get the kill, but it could be to the death of him. Reginald taken very low. Here comes Complexity around the side. Louder Mortis running towards him. Reginald's teleporting back. He realizes he might get away from this one. Louder Mortis is going to continue to chase on the odd one. Reginald, no, he's not going to get caught out because that's the ultimate, and it's going to be the kill for Brunchu. Now Louder Mortis on towards the odd one. Can he chase him down? He's going to get to the turret. He can't finish him off, but it's a good trade there, and now it's 4-4 in kills.
That was incredible patience on both sides there, because both Louder Mortis and the odd one
My
had their
dear,
ultimates
my
ready. Flout said, you know what, I'll ult you to lock you down and my team will show up. Awa could have just knocked him right back with the Crescent Strike and been completely fine there.
And the irony is, we said at the start of the show, they've stopped banning Zed away from Nick Wu because they don't fear it anymore. But here he is, 3-1, getting the double kill, but now the odd one comes in. He goes aggressive, ace in the hole, Louder Mortis goes down, Dragon was saved as well, and now you can see TSM, they're going to come in, get the reset, and go for it.
That was a really, really nice play, and Dyra specifically landed his Shadow Dash to prevent Louder Mortis from being able to pop his ultimate at all as well, and that really opened up that fight. That was nicely played.
Nicely played. Nick Wu was off, he was up the top there. I think he was picking red buff up, I didn't quite see where he was going, but Wild Turtle returns back to this bottom lane, keeping up the farm, but that's not the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, that is going to always be the scary thing to think about. We talked about it last game with Marn versus Dignitas, where you're fighting a late game AD carry, more so late game than Caitlyn is. You always got to be aware of that. There's a ticking clock going at all times, kind of in the back of your head that, hey guys, he's going to get scarier and scarier as the game goes on. It is a thing to be concerned about. And, you know, to Complexity's credit, they were holding on a lot better early game than I thought they might have, you know, when you look at TSM's lineup.
It is 1-1 in turrets. The gold is still swinging with TSM. He did go even a moment ago, but the fact they picked up that dragon, they picked up another kill, does take them that 2,000 gold advantage, but that's not that big right now. We do see Reginald back in that mid lane, trying to keep him at bay. Brunchu putting the pressure down on towards him. That turret at half health. Also, there's a lot of free farming going on by Chupa at the top there at the moment. He went up. He's managing to keep him going. So he's actually ahead of Reginald currently in the farm. Reginald, of course, with those 2 kills. But Nick Wu is the big difference right now. He's at nearly double the CS of Dyrus. But Dyrus is effectively playing a completely different game to Nick Wu. Nick Wu has to get those kills, he has to get snowballing, whereas Dyrus is just going to split push his way to victory for TSM.
It's going to be very interesting to watch because basically if TSM gets a pretty decent sized early mid-game lead, because Dyrus already has a Sunfire cape, he will be a split push monster. It'll be very hard to deal with him. He will constantly pressure down minions and he'll put a lot of pressure on the map that Complexity must go and deal with, which really hurts their ability to find like cheeky kills in the middle of the game and ways to come back into it. And it tends to stretch a gold when you've got a good split pusher like that can't really be answered. Nick Wu, though, he's had such a good game, he's pretty much set up to one-shot Wild Turtle kind of whenever he wants. And he can actually pull Dyrus down across the map just because he will be required, this unit will be required to save Wild Turtle in teamfights.
So, as it stands, 5-4, Complexity taking it to them. And this is definitely a different game that we saw at MLG Dallas. I mean, this match was not even close. In fact, I don't even think they got 4 kills at Dallas.
It was a pretty rough one overall, and it certainly snowballed ahead rather quickly. But in this case, we're seeing... It's funny because the early game looked the same, right? It was a bunch of unanswered kills, first turret, no problem. And then you basically saw Nick Wu kind of open up everything. And this is honestly really vindicating for him. Oh my gosh, it just, a blue buff just went right away to MIA. He smited it right before. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
You can't imagine that was on purpose. Unless he's going for a full-on AP Lulu, which he is not because he's only got 6 CS. That was a definite mistake from Complexity. Reginald, of course, picking up his own blue buff. The pressure continuing in this mid lane. They are going to try and drive it forward. Dyrus has gone back towards the top to try and deal with Chupa to try and stop his free farming, essentially. As it is, Nick Wu's continuing on the bottom.
It's interesting from Complexity, actually. Chupa is probably the best single choice here to heads up against a split push Shen. He can stop the teleport with vacuum. But here comes the initiation in the mid lane.
Reginald diving in. He does get a Shen ultimate coming in as well. So everybody diving in towards the middle. But Brunchu gets shielded up there. And of course, MIA with that blue buff got a lot of cooldowns.
Yeah, he's able to put a lot down. MIA actually had burned his flash as well as Brunchu's cleanse. And that was actually really cool, though, from Complexity overall. TSM burned 2 globals to get, if it weren't for cleanse, what would have been a free kill on Brunchu. So a good escape there by the AD carry. He played that one safely enough. And of course, you just see the Zed and Diana continually split push and farm up. You're seeing their minion kills really go up.
Yeah, the pings coming out from Complexity there. You can tell they were like, well, the AD carries down here. Put the pressure on the mid lane. Chupa immediately comes down. He gets in towards position. And they have done a lot of damage on that mid turret. The ward has gone down. We do see an invade from Louder Mortis. He's going to come around. They're diving on towards the bottom lane. The exhaust on Nick Wu does manage to take down. It's going to be Wild Turtle. I nearly switched across. Oh, and can he turn it back on towards the especially? It doesn't matter because here comes Chupa. He lands straight on him and just explodes him in the face. And now they can pressure the bottom turret as well as the mid lane.
And just to show off, he pressed W and E out of order and still picked it up. Nick Wu, by the way, 1v2 under an enemy turret, killed Caitlyn.
Still got that kill, and that's the difference. I mean, you can see he used the build to cut this in that fight. He's got the Brutalizer early on. He's got that Merc Treads, and he's becoming a monster. And once that death mark's on you, you know you are very much in trouble. Now, I remember seeing Doublelift talking about this, how they should go for the QSS. You don't want to go for it too early, but yeah, that's something they've got to look towards.
Yes, the Quicksilver Sash will help so much against that death mark. You really, 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 really need to pick that one up. We'll see when he ends up grabbing it. Caitlyn here has actually picked up, this is interesting, he actually has picked up Infinity Edge here. We talked last game about QTPie going Bloodthirster to try to survive fights like that. I feel like Bloodthirster Quicksilver Sash, though it's very, very low damage, would be one of the best ways to keep himself alive against Nick Wu.
Yeah, he's going to try and burst him down. 6-6 in kills. Gold still only a 2,000 difference, and it is 1-1 in turret, but of course that bottom turret now down to half health. Complexity are pressuring the turrets more than Team Solo mid right now. That middle turret was almost down. Dragon spawning in, well, it's 26
immediately.
Seconds. They seem very early in position here. When they're going to try and ward it out, they are. And TSM, they want to fight for this next Dragon. The question is, who is the stronger of the two? You've got to feel with Nick Wu, if he can get in the right place at the right time, he can take down either Reginald or Wild Turtle, no problem.
Well, they've got about 45 seconds on Dyrus's teleport, and Wild Turtle has no summoners, and Special has no exhaust. So the cooldown state, I feel, is better for Complexity overall, and these teams feel pretty evenly matched otherwise. The only thing that's going to be a real difference here is how much damage will Dragon do in the fight.
Well, Complexity are getting in position for this one, and they are going to be the ones that start out the Dragon. No, they're not. They're just going to go in there and have a poke at it. You saw Nick Wu thought about diving on towards Reginald there. They have got vision of the pit, but not the actual inner area of itself. And that does mean Reginald's throwing those wild cards out. MIA actually took a full brunt from the Dragon there, which means they're going to have to back off from this one. Complexity already taken a lot of damage. They've got no sustain, so they're having to chug through those health pots and keep them at bay.
The really great thing here for Complexity actually is that Reginald doesn't have a blue buff right now, so he's running out of mana, locking these Pika cards, throwing out wild cards. He's only got 3 spell casts left, basically. That's a rough spot for him. Wild Turtle, though, great split, actually gets a free turret. Even if Complexity gets Dragon, this was actually a better fight for TSM.
Yeah, you've got to always give the advantage to taking that turret down, and Complexity completely out of position. The experience of Team Solo Mid forcing them to take that turret down. And he's continuing to push here. If he shows himself on the inner, you feel they're going to try and go for a fight. He is on that inner turret now, and Complexity realize they've got to react to this.
Well, they do have Lattimore in front. He finds the oven. They're going to go in.
Oh, it's the bandage toss on towards the odd one, but he hasn't used that ultimate just at the moment. There's the crescendo. There's going to be the curse of the sad mummy, and they all stacked up. Wild Growth pops them all in the air. Team Solo Mid getting dropped. Reginald's going to be the target. Chupa gets on towards him. X-Special goes down now as well. We did see Brunchu getting targeted.
Μαλάκα, τι μπήκε να κάνει ο Dyrus εκεί.
But now Dyrus has got 4 members on the backside of him. The Wild Turtle, he's trying to get away. He's backing off, but it doesn't matter. Complexity are going to go for the Dragon finally. And advantage goes to Complexity in kills.
They got a 2-for-1 out of that one. Great initiation. So much damage coming out from Nick Wu, enforcing flash after flash from TSM trying to get away. You did see just how tanky Dyrus was, though. A full team, 4/5 of the team of Complexity trying to chase him down, and he was able to escape that. So Dyrus, he is certainly terrifying here. He's going to be hard to deal with. And but yeah, you saw a really good Complexity team fight. That was good from them.
Well, Complexity have to back away from this one. They can't afford to pressure this. They did have the odd one coming in, despite the fact there's 3 members down there, all low on health. Chupa is going to pick up the blue buff. Dyrus, meanwhile, back at the top, back in that split farming style. The advantage currently with TSM in terms of gold and towers. You've got to feel that that's going to give them the pressure. Oh, Reginald going aggressive there straight away, but you see Nick Wu pulling the damage back on towards him. Reginald's ultimate was used. It does mean that they're going to be down for a while. Dyrus is going to continue pressuring that top lane, but the mid turret's going to go down here. We're going to see Brunchu taking that mid turret, but it's TSM. They are pushing on towards his bottom. There it is. 2-2 in turrets. Can TSM pressure this top bottom turret, though? They're buying time for Dyrus in the top.
He does not have his ultimate at all, though. If Complexity goes for a fight here, they have a completely free 5-on-4. They're just not starting that fight in time. TSM have picked up 2 free turrets, and Complexity is too afraid to start fighting them.
That's just simply great tactical play there from Team Solo Mid, and they do manage to get yet more advantages here. Complexity, meanwhile, are going to clear anything out. Can't see what... Let's have a recap here. Nick Wu, 5-2-2 in terms of kills. 2-0-3, though, for Dyrus. He picked up another kill in that big mad dash fight they had a moment ago. It is, of course, Reginald at 2-2-1. Hasn't been able to create too many plays just yet, but they could argue that that ultimately used down that bottom lane did create the opportunity to take down that inner turret. As it stands, though, Chupa, he has got a big farm advantage. He's got a 2-1-2 effectively kill advantage over Reginald as well, so has more gold. Hasn't completed a major item yet, nor has Reginald, though.
And the weird thing that I want to kind of point out here about Chupa is he's playing much more of a utility role as well as they take down this bottom turret. And you just see how much damage he's actually taking.
Can they take it? I don't think they can. Wild Till's going to turn aggressive, and now he's going to pop back towards him. Chupa's going to take another tower hit, though, and Wild Till does turn it around. Dyrus now chasing on towards Louder Mornings. Can he catch on? One long-range shadow dash might be enough. There's the ace in the hole about to come out. It lands. Dyrus is in range. He gets the full shadow dash.
Όπα.
He's going to go down here. We see
Αλήθεια.
Dyrus, the odd one comes in.
Ω, Μιτζι.
Dyrus picks up the kill.
Το ulti κρίμα.
Lulu did have her ultimate available, but didn't quite.
Ρε δεν ζεσταίνεται με αυτό το κεφάλι.
Actually, by TSM picking up 2 kills. Just completely for free. Missteps a little bit. That is a Chupa blooper, though, man. He died just 1v1 against Caitlyn.
A Chupa blooper indeed. As it stands, though, 9-8 in kills. There is a 4,000 gold advantage currently building for Team Solo Mid. They have that 4-2 turrets and I hope everyone watching in Lille is having a good time. It is going to be Nick Wu picking up the red buff, and the blue buff going across to Reginald, as Wild Turtle clears out this top lane. Let's have a look at the farm between the two AD carries. You can see 179 CS to 165. It is a gold advantage currently, a big gold advantage I might add. That's a 1500 gold advantage for Wild Turtle.
And he is definitely a very massive Caitlyn here. He's been able to participate in more fights. His team's got more globals, but in the mid lane, here comes Reginald.
Here comes Reginald, and there's going to be getting on towards Louder Mortis, forces him away, but Brunshu comes straight back in and lays down a hell of a lot of damage himself.
Yeah, he is a very scary man. There we go, Trooper finally on the bottom lane. He's been split pushing forever. He's finally finished the Gnasher's Tooth. What I was trying to point out before was that he had not itemized a lot of early damage output. That 1v2 lane shut him down quite a lot early on. He grabbed early Mercury Treads and a Home Guard boots just to try to survive a lot more early on. Finally has his first damage item. Now we'll see if he can do anything in fights.
So everybody back in lanes. Everybody backing off. Special trying to keep the wave away while Turtle
Όντουαν, ναι. Έτυχε σολάρι.
Turtle so far. 22 minutes into this game. He just had a great, effectively 2v1 with Jupiter down the bottom.
He's playing mechanically very, very well. The fights have been kind of back and forth overall. I can't really see there's anything that he's done wrong. He's getting dived, and there's not much he can do about it, really. I think he's playing a great game.
Fantastic game, as are Complexity, keeping themselves in it against Team Solo Mid. The team that, honestly, probably at the start of the season, everybody would have put it number 1.
Yeah, they were pretty much the favorite North American team from last season. Of course, they won the Season 2 Regional, so, you know, their last documented performance was, yeah, they were the best performing team in North America. So, they're in 3rd right now. They have potential of taking top 2 at the end of the weekend. We'll see if they can do it.
We'll see if they can, with Dignitas already picking up a win in first game of the day. It does seem a little unlikely, but you never know. There's Dignitas versus CLG coming up next, but it is going to be Louder Mortis. They dive on towards clever use of the bandage toss there, gets across to the Wraith. Doesn't manage to pick up the Wraith though, because TSM actually putting a great bit of damage down here. Brunshu taking a heck of a lot straight away from Wild Turtle and Reginald, and that's potentially causing problems here. They might pressure on towards his mid lane, but they need to be wary of Nick Wu, but he is instead just going to back off. TSM going to go run straight down towards... No, they're not going for Dragon, because he's not up on 43 seconds. Is that timing off?
I mean, they just kind of knew they couldn't keep pushing forward right then. They're pulling... I guess they don't need to pull Darius down at all, actually. His ultimate is up. The weird thing about Brunshu here, though, is he's not backed. He has 0 sustain whatsoever. No Vampiric Scepter, no Lifesteal Quints. Doran's Blade will take too long to get his health back up, so he's going to be at half health no matter what in this fight. There he finally recalls back, but it might be a little bit too late. Dragon's coming up very soon.
Dragon is coming up soon. Nick Wu's going to go in towards Dyrus. Let's see who can win out this duel. Dyrus doesn't really want it. He has got that Warmogs and Sunfire Cape though, but Blade of the Rune King for Nick Wu now will definitely put some damage on towards Dyrus, but it would be a long, hard-fought fight as it stands. So look at this. They're ready and waiting to see if they can go towards the blue buff. Dragon is up. TSM taking the Dragon while they go for blue.
Yeah, they're going to kill it way too fast. It goes down completely for free. Complexity could start a fight here. No, actually, they don't have Nick Wu. They could not. It would be irresponsible. It would be a 4-on-5. They are still pulling Nick Wu down, though, which means this is strange because I don't think they can force anything here unless they surround Caitlyn.
Well, we do see Caitlyn going in towards Nick Wu's heading straight in towards Wild Turtle. He's going to go for it, puts the death mark down, and gets cleansed off straight away, and now Nick Wu in trouble. Reginald comes in, doesn't matter because Dyrus was there, and now that means TSM can turn and burn, and Complexity in all manner of trouble.
Τι δουλειά είχε κι ο άμμο μου ρε.
No way he's going to be able
LOL
to
το
get
Q.
slowly but surely he will get dropped.
Λοιπόν, κοίτα που θα πεθάνει.
MIA is going to come back around here. If they got enough to try and detract him, it is going to be the Glitter Lance, and that should save him, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be the mid turret that's going down. Dyrus eats a couple of tower hits, but he doesn't care. He's tanky enough. Wild Turtle takes down the next turret, and they're going to push on towards the inhibitor.
It's a lot of damage available right here. You saw that Shen ult earlier completely keep Wild Turtle alive. Nick Wu's back up in about 7 seconds here, and Complexity's doing a pretty good job of holding their base alive. Wild Turtle could be in a bad spot. There's the vacuum.
They do manage to try and pull Wild Turtle back. They didn't manage to get the Glitter Lance down, though. Reginald tried to prevent Louder Mortis from going back, but they have managed to recall. But it doesn't matter, because TSM have gained huge advantages from that one. Complexity going to try and gain an advantage of their own and push straight down mid.
Yeah, TSM does have 5,000 gold of a lead themselves, 26 minutes in. Ooh, their health bars are low enough. Complexity's going for a stab. They're like completely trying to control the Baron area with a Kog'Maw. I mean, They really could. TSM are blind to this. They already had Oracles recently. TSM does not know. Autumn has to walk face first into the team.
He tried to go for it, but the death push down. The odd one has got the Oracle, forces the flash away. Now they're going to go towards X special. Bandage toss misses though from Lana Morris.
Yeah, that was the right play. They got a really, really good bait there. And again, they still know they have ward control. If they get back into the fog of war, they force TSM to blind check this again or give it up.
Reginald's ultimate's going to be up in around about 10 seconds time. He's coming back in. The whole of TSM are off to the side. You see the Baron, it's down to half health already.
They're waiting.
You can see Complexity are very low already. Here comes Dyrus, acing a hold on towards Brent. Jury's going to go down, but the Baron's already dropped. Can they turn it around this one? Loudmorris has still got his ultimate available. Remember, Curse of the Sad Mommy.
Τι κάνει το αμούμου, μπρος πίσω. Α. Μαλάκα, να στέλνω τα live μπρος πίσω. Κρίμα.
It is TSM dropping like flies right now. It's a double kill for Nick Wu. It's a triple kill for Nick Wu. And that is an ace for Complexity.
Άσε ρε ντεμάν, το διάβασες.
5 for 2 plus.
Ο Κόγκο έπρεπε να ζήσει, μαλακίστηκε. Είχε τόσο attack speed και πήγαινε μπρος πίσω.
An excellent fight by Complexity. You mentioned that 10-second on Reginald's ult. They were waiting those last few seconds. They knew if they ran in too headlong, Complexity would catch them out. And Complexity used that hesitation. So many lower tier teams face check over and over and just die. And higher tier teams, they wait 5 seconds. Complexity used that against them and said, you're going to play it safely because you don't want to throw this game. You're not going to face check this Baron Nashor.
And that's purely down to the team